I rank where the view is nothing less than phenomenal. For how I express and project from my abdominal. The only view better, both my daddy and my mama know. No living parents, my sons give me balance. My wife is my serenity, this mic is my identity. The world is foul enough, that's why I write without obscenities. Provoking danger with broken language and spoken anguish. Begging to get hurt, why would you ask to go through changes? Yes, Lord, life's a chessboard, master the angles. Control the tempo, be the one who holds the info. Acknowledge is just as deadly as machete swings. When spoken, the truth is as potent as that Medellin. While others swear the style is free, I just let it ring. Our time is undervalued, soldiers make us better kings. My fans on my shoulder, reaching after better things. Today I take the shot, for them I'd rather set the screen.
My mama told me follow my dreams. My daddy told me get it by any means. Stand tall, make him bow to a king. But I've evolved, you can see the result. Look in my eyes when you speaking to God.
Life and for those who we caught up in using what I was called with the muse. I guess they call it proving I'm more than an artist. Penciling out my darkest while stenciling out a harvest. And storing what gets me from A to B just like garages. Instrumental with collages. Envision what I've been drawing. Broadway to give you rhythm like the great Lena Horne. So bent on, found comfort in the storm. Find peace and on when you see them others perform. Organized chaos, I'll cast it like hey ya.
Yo, party people in the place to be, what's good? Welcome to the Knicks Money Drive. I'm your man's Uncle Freezy, rocking the spot. Get these headphones right. Yeah, there we go. I'm your man's Uncle Freezy, rocking the spot. Number one chief rocker in Knicks universe. What's good? What's good? Good morning. Let's get this thing started right. Blue tears, orange tears, orange tears. Let's go. Let's get it. Let's get it. Right? Throw your hands in the air and wave them like you just don't care. And if you got some loot and a stick of juicy fruit, somebody say, oh yeah. Oh yeah. Now scream. Let's go. Let's get it. Man, just coming off Vibes and Stuff Live in the morning. Make sure y'all check that out. Weekday mornings, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. with your man, Uncle Freezy and Chuck Allen. The conversations be crazy. The conversations there are crazy. They get your morning started off right. While you walking out the door or taking your kids to school or headed to the office, check out Vibes and Stuff Live in the morning with Chuck Allen and your man, Uncle Freezy. We talk about everything. Nothing is off limits, right? We out there, we reaching out to our people, to the homies, like the ones that's on that grind every day. You know what I'm saying? Taking your kids to school, going to the office, taking care of your parents, whatever it is that you're doing. We're here to support you. We want you to tune into us so that we can help you get your morning started off right. You grab your coffee or your morning beverage, tune in to Vibes and Stuff Live, and we all go together, man. We all go together. Chuck Allen has the stories for days, man. Chuck Allen is legit the host, you know what I'm saying? That will help you get this day crunk and started right. Right? But with that said, leaving out of Vibe Stuff Live in the morning, I'm here on the KMD, ready to rock with y'all for the next 2.5 hours or so. I want to talk about this upcoming game, the Dallas Mavericks. With the Dallas Mavericks, man. Let me shout out my people first, right? Chef NYK is in the building. Mike Boy. Miss Geraldine, what's good? I see you. Hewlett Samuel is in the building. What's good? Ricardo Torres, what's good? We see you. I see you. Mr. Vince is in the building. D Nice. AJ Boulay, what's good? Forbes Phil is in the building. What's good, man? That's my brother. T. Williams, what's happening? G. Robinson in the building. G. Robinson is in the building. Got a programming note. So I'm working on a couple things. I hadn't been able to shout out the members of the channel like I've been wanting to, but trust, member content soon come. I'm working with this thing called vMix. So once I get that down pat, listen, my members are gonna have the dopest experience. Lawrence Tears members are gonna have the dopest Knicks experience on YouTube once we get this thing down pat. Just bear with me for a little bit while I work on that. Right? Y'all know I'm working on Lawrence Tears, the channel itself, the Knicks Morning Drive, Knicks Freestyle, the Pod Couple, Knicks After Party, NBA 1-on-1, Old School Knicks, Live with Baked Beans, right? So I'm working on all this stuff, behind the scenes. So I'm a little slow to the membership thing, but trust, the members thing is on the radar. I'm looking to make the members experience the dopest members experience on YouTube for any Knicks fan. Trust that. Just take a little time. I ain't forgot about y'all, and thank y'all for supporting the channel in that way. So, and if you would like to become a member, go to the Lawrence Tears page, click on join, right? Select the level of you want to sit up front with Uncle Freezy. You prefer the nosebleeds? You prefer somewhere in the middle? Click whatever your preference is. Join the Lawrence Tears family, man, and we are gonna try to make we're working towards making you have the dopest experience in the game, right? That's what we're working on. So bear with your man, Uncle Freezy, while I work through all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? We're not professionals at this, but we have heart, right? What's the name of that movie about the dude that kept getting cut for the Notre Dame football? Rudy, right? That's what Uncle Freezy is right now. I am the Rudy of the Knicks universe game, but even though I don't have all the resources, I got the most heart, and I love y'all, man. Make sure y'all know that when y'all go forward, don't think about how to think about this. And I'm looking at all of y'all, each individual. Don't look at this as hey, I'm ready to go rock with Uncle Freezy. Look at this as Uncle Freezy is coming to rock with you. That's what this is. And with that said, let me quote the great American poet Grand Poobah. When Grand Poobah says, well, a lot of people think this is easy as it looks. Books and books of rhyme, concepts, and hooks. Stressing and stress, session to session to get thoughts manifested. Stressing and stressing to hit the world with a blessing. That's Grand Poobah, ladies and gentlemen, 1996. What's good? I got the Knicks have won 2 in a row. The Knicks have won 2 in a row, right? And so here's my thing. Dallas Mavericks. I'm going to quote the great American poet, Prodigy. Dallas Mavericks. There's a war going on outside no man is safe from. You can run, but you can't hide forever from these streets that we done took. You walk around with your head down, scared to look. You shook, because ain't no such things as halfway crooks. That's what I'm saying to you, Dallas Mavericks. So tonight or tomorrow at 12 a.m., don't be hitting me with this. Well, there's a whole lot of slow singing and flower bringing if my burglar alarm starts ringing. I don't want to hear it. The Knicks, Julius Randle has found his way. RJ Barrett has found his way. And y'all are in trouble, man. Okay. Yo, top of the morning to John from Still Knicks fans. That's my guy. Right there, John. What's good? Ron, John, and Jose is in the building representing. Shout out to them. Right? Shout out to those my guys. Yo, and listen, I don't co-sign a lot of people. I don't. I don't do the Mr. I should, but I don't. I should. I don't. I'm not perfect. I'm flawed. I'm a diamond that's flawed. I want y'all to know that. But listen, I don't co-sign everybody, but I do co-sign Still Knicks fans. Right? If y'all get the chance, get the opportunity, go out there, subscribe to their channel. Right? Listen to what they have to say. Like, comment, and subscribe to them. They are trying to put forward a great product, and most of the times they do. 99% of the time they do. The only time I disagree with them is when they say something bad about Julius Randle. I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking with my guys. I'm joking with my guys. You know what I'm saying? But yo, let me get into this tip off. All right, tip off. Tip starts with the letter T. Let me see. Tip. Is that T capitalized? Is the conversation going to be different after the Knicks beat the Mavericks tonight? So after the Knicks beat the Mavericks tonight, the Knicks will have won 3 in a row. I'm predicting a mega game from Julius Randle. Right? I'm predicting a mega game from Julius Randle. I'm predicting, hear me out, right? Because listen, I'm gonna say this real quick. So Mitchell Robinson may not play. Cam Reddish is out with a sprained shoulder, right? Grimes, Noel, Rose, Shamanich, Toppin, and Kemba Walker are all out. Right? That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, possibly 8 guys out tonight, right? Possibly 8 guys out, right? So what does that mean? More minutes for Fournier, Burks, Taj, Julius, and the young players, right? So what I'm predicting tonight is a game from Randall. I'm predicting 32. I'm predicting 31 and a half points and 15 and a half or 14 and a half rebounds. And I know you're like, what's a half rebound? What's a half point? Y'all get what I'm saying. The gamblers know what I mean. So I'm predicting about 31 and a half points. I'm predicting 14 and a half rebounds, a triple double. I'm leaning towards 12 assists, but I'm gonna go somewhere with 10 and a half. 10 and a half assists from Randall. I'm predicting a triple double and an easy win by the Knicks over the Mavericks, who are hot right now. I think they've won like 6 in a row. Let me check to see how many games the Mavericks have won. I'm just gonna see real quick, y'all. Bear with me, right? Standings. Dallas has won 5 in a row. They're 8-2 in their last 10 games. Right? Let me look at this thing here. Roster. Who's going to guard Randall? Bertans. So they have Bertans, Reggie Bullock, Marcus Chris. I think he's hurt. I don't know if he's hurt or not. Luka can't guard anything. Dorian Finney-Smith. If Dorian Finney-Smith guards Julius, then look out for it. Tim Hardaway, Maxi Keepler, Boban, Dwight Moses. Oh, Randall might get 50 tonight. Randall may get 50 tonight, y'all. And he's playing motivated. He's playing in his hometown. I can't wait. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go, man. Man, Randall. Julius Randle on the Randall Revenge Tour. I can't listen. I can't wait. Look, let me put the invite in the chat. Let me temper my enthusiasm. Put this invite in the chat. Right? So all right, so the link is in the chat. And I'm doing the thing. Listen, man. So we here to talk Knicks basketball and some other stuff. You know, y'all know the Knicks Morning Drive is a rolling podcast where I have live people on it. And I know podcast, it means, you know, you record this thing and then you put it out there. I don't do it that way, right? It's a rolling podcast where the storylines from one continues into the other. And so the essence of what a podcast is what we're doing, except we're doing it live with a live studio audience, so to speak. Right? Right. So what I'm going to ask is be dope. If you come on here and your ass is whack, you gone. Period. That has been the rule. I have been slack on that for a little bit, and I'm about to tighten that back up so that we could put forward a dope product. You know what I'm saying? So I'm putting the link in the chat. If you come in here and you whack, I'm not having no long talk, no back and forth. If you whack, you trash, you gone. Period. We ain't gonna stop the flow. Right? And if you know you whack, just don't come on. Tighten up. Right? So here's the thing. I can't wait for the night, bro. I feel like it's the night before Christmas. And all through the house, not a creature was stirring. Not even a super rando. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let me see if I have a super rando thing that I can play. Do I have a super rando thing in here? Do I have a super rando? Let me see. Super rando. Do I have a super rando thing in here? Tonight, I'm predicting Randall goes for 32, 15, and 10. On super efficient free throw shooting, like I think Randall may go, I'm predicting Randall will probably go 11 to 13 from the line tonight. Right? So Sherwin M says teams know to put a strong small on Randall and send the double and triple. Right. That's where the assists come from. That's where the assists come from. No power forward in this league can guard Julius Randle when his shot is on. Right. And not even when his shot is on, just when his regular self. No power forward in this league can guard Randle except Giannis. They don't have the agility. That's why teams use a small forward on Randle, because at 250, Randle is quicker than every power forward in this league, period. The reason why Giannis couldn't even guard Randle is because his size, athleticism, and length.
I know you're so excited for this.
I'm feeling good today, D. I'm ready for this. I'm ready for all this.
I'm so excited, and I just can't hide
it. Sam, how you doing, by the way?
Hey, man, I'm doing great. You know, I knocked out that finance exam bright and early. I'm pretty sure I got an A on it, so, you know, I'm ready for whatever now.
Hey, good job, bro.
Talk New York Knicks basketball.
Right.
Good job, yo.
Freezy, how you doing? How's everything?
Man, I'm so excited, and I just can't hide it.
I know. Remember them wrestling buddies back in the days when they have Macho Man? I'm going to get a Randall one for you. I'm going to see if somebody can make a Randall one. So when he does bad, you can punch him around, right, and throw him around the room and stuff. And then when he does well, then you can put him in the back there with all the rest of the teddy bears.
Right. I'm working on a Randall poster to put back here next to George Gervin and Dr. J.
Oh my God!
Hey, let me bring in Staffadan real quick.
What time is it?
I would like to introduce.
We need a key.
What's up, Stafford?
What's good?
Blessed morning, Sam, D, Uncle Freeze, the chat. Blessed morning.
What's going on, stuff? I know you like Freezy's pregame prediction. I know you love it.
Hold on, say that again.
I said, I know you love Freezy's pregame prediction for Randall.
Hold on, let's put some respect on his name, bro. Let's call him Super Randall. That's his name officially, right?
No, I'm good.
No, you could call him Super Randall.
Super Randall.
So you know what's funny about this matchup, right? when we beat them, right? Back in January 12th, right? They were on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
7.
They were on a 6-game win streak, and they had won 7 of their last 8,
Okay.
right? And they beat some good teams during that time. They had beat Denver, they beat Golden State, they beat Chicago, right?
Okay.
And then they ran into us, right? And we whooped them. That was actually one of our better wins of the season, by the way, right? And then they whooped Memphis the 2 nights after. And then they whooped Toronto a little bit later, right? So here's my point, right? So right now they've won. They're 8-2 in their last 10.
Okay.
And they've beaten Golden State twice, and they beat Utah.
Okay.
So is it a pattern? Is where I'm getting at, right? Is there a pattern where, they run into us again, because it almost looks the same as it did in January as far as they are? And do we whoop them again by 20 tonight?
Well,
and D, just let me say this too. Luka is the player of the month for February. Just throw that in there also. Too.
Yeah. And also Dinwiddie had 36 the other night.
And
Dinwiddie has a history of murdering us.
Right.
That's a fact.
Right. Dinwiddie murders us when he's not on a good team, but now that he's going to be a complimentary player to Luka, I don't see that happening. I see RJ Barrett shutting it down, like Public Enemy said. Shut it down. Right. Shut him down. Yeah. I see. And so here's the thing. I don't see RJ Barrett having a good scoring night tonight. And if he does, I will be glad to see that. But with the way Dallas plays, you may see RJ on Luka, Tim Hardaway Jr., and Spencer Dinwiddie if they all play tonight.
Yeah,
right.
Hardaway's out.
Right. Okay. So you'll see RJ taking up, and so this is strange, right? Because Dallas has a wing-oriented offense. Like people, the wing players may look to thrive. Like the dudes 6'5", 6'6", 6'7", they'll look to thrive in this offense. So I think RJ will definitely have to take on that challenge, right? But I don't see a big on Dallas that forces Randall to play defense.
Yeah.
And so if Randall can play the 5 against Dallas, and only focus on offense, look for the big night again tonight. Right? I'm not saying that this is going to happen every night. I'm not saying Randall is a full-time 5. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is a matchup when matchups are in our favor, where Randall can go against small forwards and not have to defend 5s. Look for Randall to eat tonight.
Yeah. Well, they have some bodies to throw at him.
Yeah.
Tonight, as opposed to Sacramento. I mean, Sacramento had bodies too, but I don't think Sacramento took advantage of what they had available,
right,
to defend him. We'll see if he could repeat. Let me ask you a question, because we started getting into this yesterday and it got sidetracked with some nonsense and foolishness. Do you want to win tonight? Your spirit's telling me yes.
Yes, please don't.
I want to say this in a way that so D, I'll be real with you 100% of the time, right? But sometimes when I'm asked like these questions, what happens is what happens is, what we say gets taken out of context sometimes.
Okay.
Right? Like yesterday, remember how we did the point where you valued the draft pick over me, the front office's path?
Yeah.
You remember I prefaced that segment with, I'll take the opposite side just so that we can have a conversation.
Right. And
Remember
they took it literal. Right.
Like that is what I believe. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'm going to preface this with, I value the draft pick. I do.
Okay.
Right. So I want to preface it with that.
Yeah.
I value the draft pick over the fake run buzz, the fake run to the play-in buzz.
Yeah.
Right. But here's the thing.
Okay.
If we are going to win certain games down the stretch, even though we're losing, this is the type of game that I would like to win.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because we're not going to lose 18 in a row. Right? We're not going to lose 18 in a row. We'll probably go 4-14, something like that. Right?
Okay.
But of those 4 that we win, I would like the win to be against teams like this. If that makes sense.
So you do prioritize the draft pick. You just would say that one of the wins that you believe we'll have in the remaining schedule should be tonight. That's what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah. Like for instance, if we were going to go 4-14, I would like to win the Brooklyn game.
Right.
I would like to win this Dallas game. You know what I'm saying? There are certain wins that I value over other wins. Like say for instance, when we play Charlotte, I don't care nothing about us winning or losing to Charlotte. I can care less.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But this Dallas game on the Julius Randle revenge tour against a team that's red hot, let's show the league that we are actually building towards something, even though we're in the midst of a bad losing scenario. You know what I'm saying? So when you ask me that question, I had to preface it with that to let you know that all thoughts are not linear. Sometimes you have complicated thoughts.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm getting at. So do I feel like this is a must win for us? No. But would I really like to see Julius Randle have a big game in his whole hometown after the fake internet beef?
Yeah.
Right. You know what I'm saying? And after a big 46 point, because what's going to happen, D, is if Randle comes out and has a bad game, they're going to point to the 46 point game and say it was a blip on the radar.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I don't want to have that. That's why I would like to see Randle have another 40-point game to validate the previous 40.
Yeah. To show this has legs. Right. And so now with that thinking, right? So next year you do want to move forward. You want Julius Randle on this roster next year.
So here's the thing. I like Julius Randle, but I don't feel like he's a necessity to the Knicks' success going forward. And I know that's another complicated thought. Sounds like I'm wishy-washy, but it's not. And I legit tell everybody I'm a fan of Randle, right? Because he came here and did stuff that others did not do, right? Like for instance, people point to Carmelo Anthony, right? Carmelo Anthony did not come here. He was traded here. Okay? Julius Randle chose to come here and take on this fan base, this grease fire of an organization, this super tough division. The Knicks, think about this. The division that the Knicks are in is historically the toughest division in basketball. The team with the most NBA titles, the Boston Celtics, are in our division. The Toronto Raptors have won the NBA championship, right? Who else? The Sixers have won an NBA championship, right? You can point to two divisions that have not won anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, so Julius Randle came here to put up with this, and he's putting up with it, and we are putting up with him, right? So that's why I like Randle. A beautiful family stand up. They have morals and belief system, all that stuff. The baby looks just like Randle. They baby is
kid's adorable.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Did you the time he cried when he was in Barclays Center talking about he hate being here? He hate Brooklyn? That was real. That wasn't prompted. You know what I'm saying? He was like, yo, I hate Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? That was real, man. I mean,
can I make the argument that I just want to backtrack for a second? Can I make the argument, right, that It's not necessarily that Randall wanted to come here. Can I make the argument, and I'll quote DSJ here, was he just a constellation prize? Because we had missed out on the big dogs, on the big fish, and we had to settle for the second, third tier. Can I make that argument?
You can, but I don't know if that thing has legs.
Okay.
Right? Because at the same time, you could have said Bobby Portis was a consolation prize.
Absolutely.
You signed Bobby Portis and Taj Gibson and Marcus Morris all at the same time.
Yeah.
Right? And the star out of that bunch is Randall.
Yeah.
Right? Randall didn't have to come here. He wanted to come here to be an all-star.
Right.
And he did that. That was his goal. His goal was to come here, get a fair shot at being an all-star. And he did that in year 2. Right? Bobby Portis wanted a fair shot to come here to be a franchise player also. But Bobby Portis ain't that guy. He's not a franchise player.
Yeah.
I mean, you can look at it a lot of different ways. So I'm going to say this to that argument as well.
Mm-hmm.
New York always has, like Donnie Simpson says, shoot for the moon, and even if you miss, you're among the stars. That's what the Knicks do. The Knicks shoot for the moon, right? But they always miss and never get the star.
Yeah.
Until Randall. And with people that don't think Randall is a star, you don't make an all-star team if you're not a star. There is no such thing as an all-role player team. An all-starter team. There's no such thing as that.
Freezy, I could make an argument. I'm not going to. But just to say this, I do remember a season when the Hawks' whole starting 5 made the all-star team and Kyle Korver was an all-star. And Kyle Korver is not a star.
Hey, Sam.
I was going to say Michael Adams in the 80s had an all-star appearance, and he wasn't a star.
But for that moment, he was.
Right, but that moment's gone and passed.
Right.
Just like Randall. He's not a repeated all-star this year.
I know that.
So how can he be a star?
Because in that
moment, but they still call people former all-stars, former 4-time all-star, former 2-time all-star. So regardless how you want to say it, he is a 1-time all-star.
But I could say that Stafford is a former manager. That doesn't make Stafford a manager today.
Right.
Yeah, he's
but nobody said that though. Who said that?
Well, who said what?
That Julius Randle is a multiple-time all-star.
No, he's.
Well, I don't know what he was getting at. I was just getting at the fact that if you are something and then the next year you're not that, then you're not that anymore. You were that, and that's why it's former.
That's past tense.
Right.
All right. Let me bring D'Angelo in. Hold on.
Yeah.
Good morning, everyone.
Hey. What's up, Jay?
What's going on, peoples?
You know, Chris Kaman was an all-star in 2010.
Right. So yeah, so I think the messaging was probably missed. Like, how do we criticize Randall for being a one-time all-star when nobody ever wants to come play for your team?
No, I'm not.
They laugh at y'all and make fun of you as a fan and your organization.
So we're supposed to wrap our hands and hug him where he's dissed us completely this year and he's had a horrible year, and we're just supposed to look at him as, oh, he had a great year last year. He had 46 points last night, and we're just supposed to say, okay, come back to us. I mean, what are we doing with Randall yet? I don't like him as a player. That's just my personal opinion. He had there's an asterisk next to last season with the empty, with the playing in front of no fans.
No, D'Angelo. There is an asterisk on your failure in free agency. every year your
That's, yeah,
organization
but that's
go
the
out
front
and
office.
you're right. However we get there, we are there. Like we could take a plane, boat, car, walk. No matter how we get there, we are still
Okay,
there,
I
right?
hear what you're saying, but
Nobody wants to.
Randall,
Would you prefer Kevin Durant over Julius Randle?
of course.
Not a question.
Well he clowned you. He said your organization is a joke and
Oh,
y'all not
he's
relevant.
just an ass. He's an ass clown
But
completely.
what, is he? But is he not correct?
He's right.
No,
Right,
yeah.
right. So
So
that, but that's my point. My point is
I
is
know. I hear
is
what you're
reg-
saying.
my point is regardless if so Durant called it what it is, right? And Randall was like, well, regardless of all that stuff, I'm gonna go there anyway,
Yeah.
right? And he came here and he put up with a lot of stuff. Stars in New York, not just Randall, but the star of the Knicks puts up with a lot of stuff all the time.
Is he a superstar, Randall?
No,
Like
no, I
Durant?
never.
Okay, so then what are we talking?
Freezy,
Well,
No,
it's like this, Freezy, too. Like, just because Julius Randle chose to come here and chose to join the circus, because we all just agreed that this is a circus, and chose that I don't have to kiss his feet.
No,
I don't have
absolutely
to
not.
kiss the ring.
see, the thing I was getting at, Freezy, was just saying that everybody who makes the All-Star isn't a star. I congratulate Randall for his
but
season.
that is what?
Yeah,
How do you say everybody that's an all-star is not a star?
it's true?
You said that in one sentence. Everybody that's an all-star is not a star.
That makes the All-Star game is not a star. That is true.
That don't make sense.
It does. Is Jeff Teague a star?
I don't know. Maybe I'm taking things too literally. Maybe I'm too contextual. Maybe I need to
Freezy,
back
you're
up and
just
take the
telling
bird's eye view.
Freezy, you're saying stuff like, "Well, we got to support this man because he was an All-Star last year."
No,
and
D'Angelo, I never said that. I never said we
sounds
got
like
to support. I never said that. You never heard those words come out of my mouth.
But I know, but
what's
so you're supposed to embrace it. We got to say, okay, we every time I've heard you say it before. Every time we get somebody that comes to New York, signs or whatever, we trash them. We don't deserve. Like we don't deserve Randall. Like because he signed. That what I mean is, I think you get what I catch my drift. What I'm trying to say is that with Randall being here, it's like, oh well, we got a star, and look what we're doing to him. We're poo-pooing on his legacy as a Knick. He did that himself. He's done it so far pretty good this year.
You know what's another thing, Freezy, that bothers me about him? I think it was DSJ, it was Chuck that brought it to my attention yesterday, and I was like, wow, it was a great point. So if I got mixed up with who, forgive me. I was looking at his numbers. No, they were showing me his numbers in contract years, right? And his most productive seasons are in contract years. And that's it. They drop every time he gets a bag. So that tells me something about Julius Randle.
Selfish.
That tells, but I think it also tells me too that you'll get the best out of him when the stakes are there for the money grab. And once the money grab is there, we get a much different version of him, like we've gotten this season. Okay, great. He had 46 points, but Freezy, you and me know both. I mean, you and me know very well. He has been wildly inconsistent this year, and he's dramatically dropped in just about every statistical category. Like dramatically, not a little bit, dramatic. Will we agree?
That's right.
No, we don't. No, we don't agree. No. So Paris Duggar, thank you for your generous contribution. Paris Duggar says, "Who's going to take the bullets for RJ if Randall goes?" Great question, especially when RJ will be making $10 million a year more than Randall, and Randall is better than RJ.
Well, hold on a second, right? But Barrett embraces the pressure. He steps up. Yeah, I don't see him crying on the. I mean, I don't see him crying like Randall does on Sunday.
Just like Jeff Hostetler.
Oh,
I remember that quarterback.
Come on.
I can't have enough.
Just like Jeff Hostetler, bro. Yeah, I'm not just like what's the other kid? Ken O'Brien. Richard Todd, yeah, he's good. I think I can probably, And the Jets were nothing.
Does Randall think he's the number one himself, personally? He probably does, right?
Okay.
I mean, He can't embrace that kind of pressure here in New York. He just can't.
So for one, I love RJ Barrett too. And just to be fair, I was the RJ Barrett fan before any of y'all, right? I was and I'm not saying that I'm clairvoyant, right? I'm not saying I'm clairvoyant, but I will remind everybody that when Joakim Noah was pulling down his pants in public streets getting arrested, I was saying tank for RJ Barrett. And RJ Barrett was a rising 11th grader, right? Way back then. That's when I was in public on shows just like this. I was saying that.
Yeah,
like we have to get RJ Barrett. So I'm not a RJ Barrett hater. That's not what I am. What I'm saying is RJ Barrett, to quote D Poetic, is a puppy. He only 21. He a puppy. You know what I'm saying? Let's let him be that, man. You know what I'm saying? Let Randall do the heavy lifting until RJ is ready. You know what I'm
saying? To answer Parrish's, I think RJ is equipped to take the bullets.
Right.
I think he has no problem taking responsibility for things that he does. He has shown that in the press conference where he'll be a little hard on himself, which is a good thing. I'd rather him be hard on himself than never be hard on himself. He always addresses the press. He always addresses the fans and stuff of that nature. I think he's fine. I don't think he needs Randall to take his bullets.
That's right. Thank you.
And I hear you, because if RJ comes out next year and he's struggling, oh boy, we're gonna be like, wait, man, hold on. You just got paid. You're the big dog right now. You're not a puppy no more. You're the big dog right now. And this is what you're doing. Your points per game is down 2, and your shooting percentages are down. Believe me, we'll be all over it.
What if Randall has a game like tonight? Let's say he gets 10 points, 4 turnovers. What are we going to say then? Because he got the 46 the other night? I'm supposed to be like, oh, great. He's back. I mean, come on.
I'll just put it like this. Right now, Randall's better than RJ. Right now.
Oh, don't tell that to D'Angelo. Don't say that. That's blasphemous.
I'm saying right now, but in the future, I believe, just like Jay Busby said, in the future, I believe that'll be something else. But right now, you could say that.
Right.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, and so the thing with Randall, man, and it's not just Randall. Right now, Randall is the proxy, right? But default, he's the default player in this grand play we call New York Knicks basketball, right? But if Kevin Durant was here, Kevin Durant would be getting these same bullets from Knicks fans. We'd be hating on him on social media if we lost a close game by 1. You won a championship. You won a championship with Golden State. How come you can't do it with the Knicks? Mister took our money for nothing.
You can't do it yourself. You need help.
Yeah. You need us to trade for Steph Curry. That's what Knicks fans would be saying.
But you know, yeah, but good, Andrew. I was just going there. Like, but he's a superstar though. Like, listen, he just came off injury and he scored 30 points in the series.
Dropped 30, right? First game.
You know, so like I think he's in a different stratosphere where the critique and the criticism might be a little bit different. We'll get on him for other things, but not for his overall production.
He would be in the MVP conversation had he not got hurt.
Right.
The
because
pouting
he's always
that Randall,
in the MVP conversation.
the pouting that Randall does is what I just don't like. I mean, I don't. If he was just having an off season, did his thing, saying the fans are going to do what they want. No. He said F you to the fans. He comes. I mean, come on. There's so many drama things he did this year that he's brought on himself. He brought more pressure on himself. This whole season, he didn't have to do that for you. He did not have to do that. He did it to himself.
D'Angelo is sharpening the pitchfork, guys. He's ready.
I'm ready.
No, man.
He's been ready.
No, man. Man. Knicks fans are so. Man, listen.
I know.
I'm at this point. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'll be honest with you. I'm kind of at that Randall point myself. Like I legit come on the KMD or any Lawrence Tears show. And Knicks fans are so toxic. It make you wonder why the hell you even put up with it. Like why you even do it. You're like legit. I figured like I talk behind the scenes. Everybody that talks to me knows naturally that I'm a on the bright side thinker, right? That's who I am, because I already been through too much bad stuff to let trivial stuff disappoint me. Right. Right. Like I've been through so much tragedy in my real life. I've been through so much stuff that my release, which is sports and Knicks basketball, I'll be positive about it because I know that it's not real life stuff to me. I like to look on the bright side of it, right? And so the thing is, hold on, let me bring in AD real quick. Hey, what's good, fellas?
This episode should be called the toxicity of being a Knicks fan. This should sound like episode The Days of Our Lives.
Right. And these are the days of our lives.
Good morning. Let me say good morning.
Good morning.
Salute.
Good morning.
Salute to all the generals. Salute to everybody in the chat. I didn't want to interrupt you, Freezy. Go ahead.
Right. So I want to finish with this, right? Sometimes we legit get on the Knicks morning drive and are so toxic. Sometimes when I get ready to hit the live button, I have to say, man, my natural instinct is to not even do it. Right? Not even show up and not even be here. Right. But I ain't gonna do that because I'm a trooper, because my character flaw is I don't know when to quit. Right. And that's been diagnosed. I graduated from the South Carolina Criminal Justice Academy in 2000. And the psychologist told me, she was like, your character flaw, the thing that's wrong with you, the thing that drives you to successes and failures is you never know when to quit, right? You'll get successes, but you will get a lot of failures because you don't know when to stop. And it's a natural thing. It's not something that you've learned. It's something that's natural with it's a personality flaw, right? And so with that said, some days we even come on here and the vibe is so, it's like before I can get to tip off, the torches and pitchforks are out, right? For regardless what it is that's Knicks related.
Yeah.
Right.
But let me ask you a question.
If we lose and Randall and RJ have good games, the pitchforks are out for Tom Thibodeau. If we win and Alec Burks and Evan Fournier lead the way, the torches and pitchforks are out for Thibodeau, RJ, and Julius Randle. You know what I'm saying? It's just.
Let me ask you a question.
Let me get to my point though.
I'm sorry.
The thing about Randall is a human being can only take so much. It's the same thing with D'Angelo. D'Angelo is at his tipping point, right? He's at his tipping point with some things that have happened this season. And if D'Angelo can have a tipping point, if I can have a tipping point, how come Julius Randle cannot have a tipping point? It's not fair.
But you act like we had 22 winning seasons. I mean, this has been losing. I mean, we've been it was all these years, and then it's like we had one great season. We got to just base it off of that, and we're having a bad season again. We could have a couple more bad seasons.
Breezy.
In office.
Sorry, D'Angelo. Sorry. You didn't do the super chat of Parrish.
From Parrish. All right. Let me.
Yeah, and I think we should address it as well.
All right. Hold on. Okay. So, and I appreciate that, man. So Paris Duggar, thank you for the generous contribution. Paris Duggar is hey Duggar, we appreciate you being here. You feel me? We appreciate you, bro, because the comments like this and others help drive the show, and we appreciate that. And so he says Barrett hasn't faced any pressure. Stop the BS.
Yeah. Well, okay. And although that's true, that we've seen Randall face the pressure and he's broke. So and we don't know if Barrett is going to handle the pressure or not handle the pressure. So it's kind of like his comment was already like predetermined. He hasn't gone through it. So it means he's not going to do it. Stop the BS. That's how I took the comment, and I think that's a little unfair because we haven't seen him in the opportunity to see if he would or not.
Can I jump real quick on the Randall conversation, please? We signed Randall as a young player, scoring 20 points per game, coming off the New Orleans Pelicans bench. Randall did not come here to be the next star, correct? What Randall gave us last year was he's ascending as a player. So we paid him for at free agency for the possibility of being that.
Mhm.
Randall in his whole career was not a star player. So him acting out now, I am not too shocked because he hasn't really been in that spotlight to receive this kind of criticism after what he gave us last year. Now, I am not a Randall supporter. I'm just seeing it through the lens of a realist. What we do is we felt as an organization where we sign these players and hope that they can become a star. We hope RJ can become a star while we kind of offset a lot of their flaws in their games. And if we're being honest, Randall, neither RJ are that generational talent that we're going to need to win.
I don't understand you, Uncle Freezy. I'm sorry. I don't understand you, Uncle Freezy. You see, and I say this to disregard. We're not always going to think the same. We should not think the same. We should not respond the same. Broken Randall, the broken Randall after what, 2.5 seasons? The Knicks gave him $117 million. I'm old enough to remember Woody Hayes on the sideline punching the opponent's player in the face.
And he got fired on the spot too.
Right.
By the way,
That's
he got
man
erased.
who's broken.
And he got erased from Ohio State legacy. You don't
Yes.
mention Woody Hayes no more because he was an idiot.
Okay, but that's a man who's broken. That's a man who's the pressure went so far, so high. You're 2.5 years in. You got to one playoff series. You got one playoff win. And we're supposed to do what? What exactly are you saying to Knicks fans when they come on here in the morning? That they should fix their face and fix their minds to think, well, oh, there'll be a better day. Keep hope alive. I'm sorry, Mr. Julius. We should be thankful that you took this money.
Right. Okay. All right. So this is the stuff that I be talking about. Legit. So because what you sound like right now, this take right here makes you sound like a raving lunatic.
I'm fine with that. I'm a desperate Knicks fan.
Right, but understand.
It goes hand in hand.
Understand. They don't go hand in hand, bro. Because okay, all right. Go ahead, man.
Let me get some of that.
I just want to introduce everybody to the joint where we try to produce a joint for Knicks fans to come in and enjoy every morning with broad thinking outside of the box, non-repetitive commentary, right? Toxic attitude and things like that. So that's what I try to get to in the mornings, and every morning we get dragged back into a black hole of cyclical thought. Like nobody can think. Like we get here, and it's all of a sudden everybody is back into the spiral down the drain of thinking the same person's thought over and over again every day. So I just want to say for those that tuned in to legit hear conversations that's outside the box and forces you to think and have your say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We constantly get to a point where we go back down the drain. We flush this thing back down the toilet of the abyss into a negative, toxic type thought. If you came here for something else, then don't. You
want to apologize. You want to shape our minds and how we should think, how we should be. Come on. That's ridiculous, Uncle Freezy. This is not.
There's always alternatives.
Hold on. No one came on. No one came on here attacking his kids.
No, I'm not holding on. I produced this. I put this out. I ain't holding on for nothing.
Did someone come on here attacking his kids?
Did
someone come here attacking his wife?
What I'm saying
I don't understand.
So AD, the only reason why I'm even going this far with you is because you my man, right? If you were somebody else,
and you my man.
If you were somebody else, I would have been booted you for this right here, right? What I'm saying is this. Don't twist what I'm saying. We offer this right here is an alternative. The goal from Go was an alternative from ESPN that did the same mess to us for years. The reason why we even do this every morning is because the big outlets do this to us every day. Every day. They crap on the Knicks and Knicks players and Knicks fans every day. And we are the alternative to that. That's the reason why I do this every day. Right? So to turn this into the thing to turn this into the ESPN of YouTube is not what we're doing. So even though we disagree for sure. We disagree. But the basis for this joint, for Blawrence Tears, is the alternative to the people that have been bullying Knicks fans forever. And to turn us into the same thing that we were running from is not what we're going to do. My bad, Ron. I ain't mean to cut you off, bro. You my man. Ron, how you doing, man?
Man. Boy, y'all on one this morning. Hey, I'm going to tell y'all first off, man. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, man.
Yep. I told myself, really, like I was on a self-imposed exile. Like I wasn't going to do no more shows because of, hey, I know where my mindset at right now. Right. You know what I mean? And it's hard to even look at this Knicks team the way it's been being played. But I had to get up off of it. What I've seen the last few games is what I've been wanting to see since January. Right. Let them young guys play, man. Because and I'll say this, looking at this team, Tom Thibodeau is late to the boat, man. You know what I mean? And that's what really teased me off is what I've seen these last two games with this young guys playing is more effort and energy and heart from this team that I've seen all season. Consistency. And that's why Tom Thibodeau can't come back next season. They say it takes 30 days to break a habit. Well, Tom been in this habit for a long time. He ain't got 30 days to break this. You know what I mean? So that's enough for me with Tom. I'm gonna get off Tom. Julius Randle, I'm gonna say this once about him, and I'm gonna start looking for the positives with what he's doing. But I heard what y'all was saying, but the problem with Julius Randle is something called professionalism. He lacks it. And in any arena, you have to be a professional. The guy is not a professional. You see it in his actions. I mean, you tell me what business where a man slapped a laptop out of his superior's hands and he's still on the job. That doesn't happen, only in sports. You tell me another situation where you the highest paid player, you don't show up to the press conference other than when you got a good game. Unprofessional. Can't happen. You have to be there. You have to be accountable. His energy level and effort, we hadn't seen that like what he played this last game in flashes. We've seen it in flashes. And that's the thing that teased Knicks fans off. It ain't nothing else about Julius. Because when Julius is engaged, and that's a shame that you got to even say that for a ball player or in any sports. If you're engaged, you should always be engaged the minute that ball tips off. You know what I mean? If you care about your craft, if you care about what you're presenting to the paying customer. You know what I mean? So that's my problem with Julius Randle and Tibbs as a whole. Now, Freezer, I'm going to steal a line from you. I've been noticing something you've been saying, man, the past few days, and I love it. To quote a great American poet, I once heard this rhyme. It says, either you life lessons learned from the things you go through. Either you learn from your lessons or the things others do. That great American poet is Ron Cleveland. So now you don't know. Now you don't know if it's me or you don't know if it's my son because his name Ron Cleveland too. So, but anyway,
taking the kids' rhymes. I got you, bro.
Actually, that's daddy's rhyme. That's mine.
Okay,
See, you made me
okay.
come out there, but you know, I'm a true believer in that, man. You either learn from your lessons or you learn from the things others do, man. We've learned what we've been doing for the last 20 plus years ain't been working. So we need to take a page of somebody else's book who's winning. That's all. And Freezy, I agree with you 100%, man. Let's find some solutions. We know what the problem is. You know what I mean? But let's look at the positives. For me, I'm gonna tell y'all, and some people ain't gonna like this one this morning, but I'm going there. I gotta say this. Emmanuel Quickly. Great offensive talent, can shoot. My problem with Emmanuel Quickly, BH, ball hog. He's a ball hog, man. And he doesn't pass the ball to people when people are open. And that's my problem with it. You know what? It was said to me a long time ago. Just because you can shoot don't mean you need to shoot. There's other people on the team, and what you're gonna do when you shooting all the time and other people ain't getting shots, that's how you cause rift on your team. Nobody wants to play with a ball hog. We had one before. Remember Alonzo Trier? How that worked out. You know what I mean? So yeah, I like Quickly's numbers that he's putting up, man. But Quickly got to stop passing that ball. And I got to go to here. I say the best for last, my man, Deuce McBride. Elite level defense. Elite level defense. My only problem is that we're not allowing him to play the point guard position. But people will say, well, he getting on the floor. Yeah, true indeed, but he's not playing the point guard position. And I don't think there's a problem that he can't play it. Right. I think for him, because really it's a thing of trust. And right now, Tibbs don't trust him playing it. And the guys on the floor is not trusting to give him the ball. And I think he got to adopt the attitude that Cam did the other night. If you notice something, IQ was in the corner calling for that ball from Cam. Cam looked at him like he was crazy and like, not today. I'm gonna go get mine. And I think that's what Deuce gonna have to do, man. He gonna have to. Sometimes you gotta force your way. You gotta kick in the door, because people ain't gonna look out for you. And I gotta say this about RJ, man. I don't know if y'all saw this, and then I'm gonna give it up to somebody else. I gotta applaud RJ, man. Something I saw at a Westchester game when the same guy that I was just talking about, Deuce. RJ was at a game watching Deuce. And I don't think I can ever recall any of our starters going to a game to watch one of our G League players. And so I started thinking, I said, I wonder if this is a power play from RJ, because if you notice on the bench, him and Deuce and Cam are sitting right beside each other. Mm-hmm. So I'm wondering if RJ trying to flex his muscle a little bit without saying anything. So that's all I got to say this morning, man. Hey, by the way, good morning, man. Yo, hey, let's get them smiles up, man. Let's get them smiles up. You heard me? You know what I mean? But with that, man, hey, that's my
good morning, Uncle Ron. You know what I'm saying? Tell Freezy to go in the wardrobe and go put on a salmon shirt, cut it out, man. and come back out here proper and new.
Right. Nah, man.
Out here.
I'm just saying.
Throw that Obi emoji out here this morning. We need some of that this morning. Some Amelia Jackson and some Amazing Grace and all of that this morning.
Yeah, I'm just saying, man, sometimes we get to a point where you hear so much negativity every day that you wonder why you would even come on YouTube at all. I'm at that point. I'm at that point now where if I do this thing good, if I don't, good. And it's because when you try to do something, you offer the public an alternative to what's been bashing them. Like you legit say, hey, man, let's offer you this thing where you don't get beat up by the bully all the time, right? And you come on and they embrace getting beat up by the bully. So you like, what's the point of it all? That's where I'm at. What's the point? YouTube ain't making me rich. You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying is I would like to come on and at least have 10% of the joint be positive. At least 10%. Can we go there?
I feel you.
Because 90% of it is going to be as negative can be. Right? I can deal with that.
I feel you on that.
For is 10%. And I can't even get that 10%. So what's the point of even doing it?
Let me give you something positive.
Let me shift real quick. Well, let me shift real quick because I actually wanted to ask Ron a question. So, Ron, let me ask you a question. I noticed you're a large advocate for fire tips, which everybody else is.
Yeah.
Do you want the administration to stay after the season?
I'm gonna crank this up for you.
Right.
No. They gotta go. They gotta go.
So make sure when you say it, make sure you say both of them.
Yeah, they gotta go too because they hired Tibbs, and my thing is they got the ultimate power. Tibbs is the coach, but they got the ultimate power. They can tell him, hey, play these young fellas because what we've seen 50 games of, it haven't contributed to being a better product. And they got the power to do that. And they're not doing that. But my thing is that front office is a novice. Really, they should never have been. They were not qualified for the job for one.
Yeah.
They were not qualified. And the one guy with the biggest voice that could help has the smallest voice in Scott Perry. If they would have listened to Scott Perry, we wouldn't have been in this mess right now. We would have had DeRozan, and we would have had the kid over there, both of them in Chicago. We would have had the ball kid. He wanted both of them. He was an advocate and told them to go get him, and they said no. Same thing with Gordon Hayward. He wanted Gordon Hayward. I wasn't too crazy about that, but hey, we see how that's working out too. We wouldn't have had Fournier, and I tell you what, that's another guy. Fournier is good for scoring, but his defense. I didn't know his defense was that terrible, fellas. I'm gonna tell you, all you gotta do with him is go side to side. His lateral movement is terrible. But that AD, I'm with you, man. You got to clean house clean house in the offseason, man. You got to go get. I want to see us get a GM and have that. That'll be a positive thing. Go get a GM that ain't afraid to make moves. We need a forward thinking, aggressive front office. Not none of this laying back because what we've been doing, we've been laying back the last 2 years and watch every team got better except for us.
That's right. And a front office that's dedicated to throwing seeds in the soil and seeing the plants and the vegetation grow. I think that's very important.
And I got it. And I got to give my man Freezy his credit on it, because Freezy, you called it. You called it year one. I remember you went on an epic rant. And I was like, I wouldn't have done it, but you called it. You said this front office was inept, and I remember those words just like yesterday.
Yep.
And they're proving it. But back to the positives with this thing, man. We got some good young players, man. We got some good for once. We got some good young players. Let's just get a coach in here that can help nurture that and help that thing grow. Because even with IQ, my thing is IQ game reminds me a lot of a player that he's good and he never changed off of what he does great. And what I mean by that, I remember when I first started playing ball, and we all been there. Remember when we first started playing ball? What's the first thing that most people want to do? They want to shoot. When I played that point guard position, I wanted to shoot. But once I learned that I could get my shot at any time I wanted it, guess what I started doing? So let me start setting other people up. I started changing that to my game. But the defensive side, that was always that was a want. And back in the days, Freezy, if anybody scored on you, you felt like you was being made look bad. I think a lot of time these guys nowadays really don't care about the defense like they should. But that's a progression for a point guard. You have to want to set people up. And I don't see that in Quickly's game. And I'm sorry. I don't see that. I see a guy who loves to shoot. And really, Tom has given him the reins to do that from day one. Some of them shots that Quickly take, man, if anybody else take those same shots, Tom is pulling them out the game.
To Quickly's defense of the last 2 games, he has played with better pace. He has pushed the ball better. He has gotten the ball out of his hands. He has taken less dribbles, to his credit.
That's true.
How many assists he got the last game?
It's not about assists, Rod. It's about, I think it's 6 and 4, but it's not about that. It's about him making sound decisions. Because don't forget, a statistic that really should be in the NBA is a hockey assist. And he's had a couple of those as well. He's made certain plays happen by getting
RJ
the
is the
ball out
king of that
early.
right now. Yeah,
Right. So to his credit, we just want to see if it's a real thing. You know,
I want to see him share. That's all. Because he does. If anybody on here, let's have a poll. Does Quickly share the ball? Does Quickly share the ball?
Overall, no.
Not
That's
enough.
a problem. That's a problem. That's a problem, and that's why you can't keep trotting him to play. What Tom need to do? He halfway figured it out when he started playing Deuce and IQ together, but he should flip it.
Yeah.
Let Deuce push the ball up and kick it to IQ because I love when he shoots because it's pretty much going in. But I don't want him to be the guy to determine who gets the ball. Right. And that's why you see the shift to RJ a lot now. And it's helping Julius too. Get the ball out of Julius' hand. You can make Julius play a whole lot better. I think that version that we saw this last game for Julius is something that's sustainable. I ain't talking about the scoring because 46, man, that was a joy to watch. But the style is sustainable if Tom will allow RJ to keep bringing that ball up and get it out of Julius' hand. And the same thing, Burks fed off of that too. Certain guys don't shoot good when they have to be a decision maker.
Let me cut you off right here because your man is here and he been waiting backstage. You know he got a secret crush on you.
Oh god.
All right, Kev, I ain't gonna play the whole intro because I know you've been waiting. Good morning.
Hey, before Kev says anything, I know why he's quiet right now. It's because Frank isn't playing tonight.
Where you been, Samurai?
I didn't know Frank was out.
He's day to day, so he might not. He might.
Frank is off, bro. Why Frank always hurt, man?
Did Frank win the first game?
Sam, I do like you. I just want you to know that. First of all, good morning, everyone. It's great to see everybody.
How you doing, Kev?
All right. What's up, Ron? How you feeling, bro?
Man, hey, I'm feeling a whole lot better, man. We got a couple wins. You heard me, made me come off that island I was on. You know, I was on parts unknown. You know what I mean? But I'm back now. You know what I mean?
Well, you know, AD says it's not sustainable. So there you go. You know,
only if that coach can get out his own way and allow himself to do what he sees what his eyes showing and trust what his eyes are showing him.
Well, my position hasn't changed. I want him out of here.
Oh, I'm still with that. I want the truck to back up and take all of them up out of that front office. Everything, clean them up. And we gonna put Freezy in there for president.
Let me bring out a positive perspective for everybody.
Go ahead. Do that.
and Ron and you started alluding to this about some of the young guys we have.
Yeah, man.
I'm going to take it a step further.
Love them.
Good.
We have to take the
Hold on, D. One quick second. Don't be scared of Freezy, man. Freezy was a champion 25 years ago, the Green Street Lock. Ain't nobody scared of Freezy.
AD, believe me. Me and Freezy have gone at it time and time again. Ain't nobody scared here. We're just trying to be balanced.
Right.
Yeah.
That's all.
And two, my man just have a thought. He just want to say his thing without being interrupted, bro. That's all.
Okay.
Go ahead, D.
So,
he's on the poop list.
Our young core is looking good, right?
Yeah, man.
And I think what we have to do
Absolutely.
is that we have to take a Memphis approach. Woo. And what we have to do is that we have to give the bag to RJ, right? And whether he gets the bag somewhere else and we might overpay him, I don't really care. We give him the bag. And we lead him as the general to lead the charge into this youth movement.
Yes.
Okay. And I think that's something positive to look at, because if you do wash away the administration and you do dedicate a whole administration to that, I think you might have some very exciting basketball and things to look forward to. It may not translate to wins right away, but it will translate to a possible sustainable product that you could have in the next 3 to 5 years. So you got to continue going.
Kev, you got a TV.
Got the radio. That's not Kev. That's somebody else.
That's Kev.
Yeah.
No, it ain't. No, it ain't. See.
Somebody watching CNN or something.
Yeah, whoever it is, man, just. Man, either
see, I'm watching Chicago Fire, so I know it ain't me. So boom.
Right. So I'll say this, that I'm not going to bash Julius Randle. I'm going to be fair to Julius Randle because Julius
Exactly.
Randle is an NBA player.
Absolutely.
Okay. He's a guy in this league that in his career, he has averaged 17 and a half a game for his career. Okay. There's very few guys in the NBA that could do that. So I will be fair to him. I just don't think this is a good fit for him.
I agree.
Why is it not a
That's
good
my,
fit for him?
because it's kind of like an identity crisis thing going on. We all could agree here that he's not the guy that he's your number one who leads the charge. Do we all agree?
Absolutely.
Do we agree we did that to him though?
Wait. So, what's that, Joe?
Do we agree that we did that to him?
Well, it doesn't matter who did it, right? It's just we just know he's not that, right? So now the whole
then
thing
let's
is
not
that
punish the talent, right? We know that, let's not punish his talent. We know that Julius Randle can be near elite finisher, right? We saw that.
Okay.
an elite finisher.
Near elite finisher.
He's at the bottom of the league in rim percentage.
Let me touch on that. Where if you grab him in a situation where he's the pick man and he has to make a decision to go to the basket or shoot a mid-range game. Now, I'm not defending Julius. Let me just get this straight. But I'm saying this.
Hey,
is
so
where
wait a minute.
excels
Somebody
at.
got something playing in the background?
Nah, it's not me.
If you got something playing in the background, man, either back out of the live stream, stop being crazy, or mute yourself.
Okay.
Damn.
It's still going on too. All right, Jay, go ahead.
Man, if I mess around and get a copyright strike for somebody acting stupid, you can consider yourself banned forever. I'm just saying that because I asked you nice, and then I had to beg. And if we get copywritten over somebody getting a copyright strike for somebody being an idiot, don't never come back.
Well, I can tell you, I know it ain't moi. Moi got on these noise.
Feisty freeze.
These
Right.
noise
Yeah,
cancellation.
I don't have
things
Why
on.
you gotta beg,
I'm all
bro?
alone.
I don't watch TV while I'm on no show.
Right.
Yeah, that's just unacceptable. You want to watch
Disrespect.
TV?
Yeah,
You just need to watch TV. Come back when your focus can be on the show.
or the radio, man. All you gotta do is either enjoy your radio or TV away from us, or if you with us, then wait on that. That's all I'm.
Yeah, man, I feel you.
Hey, D, let me finish up on that Julius
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, we've seen slowly a transition where we're giving RJ primary ball handling duties, right?
Yep.
So if we can turn Julius not even to a secondary, but maybe the third playmaker where he's not catching the ball, waiting for the double team to come to make a decision, we give him the ball to score. He can still score the same amount of points without being the primary initiator of the offense.
I agree. But
There's
here's the
only a
problem.
problem. There's a problem.
Well,
and I think you know where you're going at, D's. Will
No,
Randall
I-
sit back and
Mhm.
accept that role?
That's
defer.
one. That's one, right? But here's the thing, right? Just last week, I could show you, Jay, on 3 different games of Julius Randle deliberately cutting off somebody's lane.
Oh yeah, I know.
Him.
RJ?
Hold on. Let me finish. Him knowing he had the lane. So I ask, okay, he didn't do this once. He did this twice, and he did it 3 times. It was actually twice to Cam and once to RJ last week.
Yeah.
So, okay. So what I'm saying is that for you, right, for Jay, a guy that has invested his time and his entertainment to this New York Knicks basketball, do you want somebody like that on your roster?
My problem will always continue to be is we empower these guys to want to be stars when they're not stars. So it's a us problem. That's how I see it.
Okay, but you didn't answer my question though.
But I'm gonna get to it.
Regardless who empowered him, he still has an attitude to
So
himself.
this is
to
why
conduct.
I can't have him on our roster for 2 reasons. What you just stated, and number 2, the moment that you said give RJ the bag, I can't be stuck paying Julius and RJ on this team.
Right.
That's gonna financially cripple us no matter what kind of young talent we have. We can't build upon that.
Okay.
So if we're gonna give RJ the bag, I'm sorry, Julius has to go. And sometimes it's addition by subtraction, if you got to see it that way.
Well, that was the essence of the conversation. Of that, if we choose to give the ball to RJ, as we are, and it's been happening ever since January, right? and then we give him the contract, I think that's pretty much, a nail in the coffin about who is in charge of this team moving forward. Would you agree?
But I will give him a 15-game sample to see if you can make it work, because for the production that he could possibly give us for his contract, it is a very valuable contract.
Rest of the season. Give him till the rest of the season.
Yeah. I would see the rest of the season. Do you want to mesh with RJ? It's not if you can, because I know he can. He can be put in those situations to succeed.
Okay.
It's if he wants to do it. And if he doesn't want to, then I have to make that decision to move on.
You know what that takes, Jay? That's humility, man.
Just real quick. Let me acknowledge the super chats just real quick, y'all. Yep. So Jodino, thank you for the generous contribution. Jodino says, ever since the Maxey matchup, it looks like IQ took a long look in the mirror and can't wait for your time. You have to take it. Tobias usage is down now. And then Paris Duggar, thank you for your generous contribution. As usual, Paris Duggar says, new coach, new Randall. Tibbs fails to coach him. And I think that's on. Hey, thank y'all for that. I just needed that to jump in right there on that break real quick.
No, of course.
Yeah, and to my man Jay point, if Randall is willing to do that, what that shows is humility, man. And everybody don't have humility. You know what I mean? You got to be willing to accept that what you're doing ain't working and try a different way to do it. And when I look at reason why I like the whole aspect of what D's saying about RJ, what I noticed the past few games, man, it ain't a secret why Mitchell Robinson is playing the way Mitchell Robinson is playing. RJ is looking for Mitch, and what I love when they run
only guy that does
when they run that little pick and roll action, and you notice the defense is kind of scared. They don't know whether to really commit to RJ because they know that lob threat is there with Mitch. And it's crazy that these guys don't run that more often because that's a way to get you open even more and get open looks from other guys, even on the wings. So that's, I would love the whole idea of RJ going. But I think we missing a big thing too. And my man Keyshawn put it in the chat. I think all this stuff started with Julius. It really snowballed when we got Cam, man. If we look back when we got Cam, that's when Julius' attitude flipped. It flipped, and I think he knows, and it ain't no secret why they got Cam. It ain't no secret. They know what they're about to go do. And if you saw the pictures of my man Zion here lately, the guy looked like the Duke Zion size-wise. So I think that got something to do with it too.
I don't know about that, man.
So
okay, we'll see.
What I say is this, Jay, right? So back to the Randall thing, right? So he's a good NBA player. He deserves to be in this league. He is not trash, right? But I think this is a bad fit for him. And so now if we go next year, right? You say you want to try it out, right? You want to do all that. Here's my question to you, right? If you do decide to go young and you do go through this youth movement, right? Are you comfortable with Julius Randle having to pay second fiddle for that and him having a positive impact to all the young guys that are coming into your organization and to last throughout their rookie contracts?
That's a double-edged sword because I think he's not in the same timeline as the young guys where he's starting to little by little creep up to 27, 28, 29. His clock is going to start coming
he's
up.
going to be 28 next season.
Yeah, he's going to want to really compete. And while we said the good things about RJ that he's playmaking, it's encouraging what he's doing now, but he's not even close to getting where he needs to be. So that's even more encouraging.
Yeah, that's scary.
But the thing with Julius is I want to give him at least these last 15 games, whatever we have, because it's a difference where the defense is set and they're honing in on Julius, waiting for him to make the moves, and he's not throwing these stupid passes, rather than he's catching it and going. The defense is not set for him to do that. And that's where his value could be. But again, it all depends on Julius. If he wants to do it.
I got a question for y'all. Let's do some player assessments. Tell me your thoughts. We're talking about these young guys, man. Tell me your thoughts on. I gotta start here because I ain't gonna lie. I like the guy a lot, man. Deuce McBride. What we've seen from Deuce McBride in this short sample size.
Be a good backup.
What do you see that you like? What do you see that you like, and what you see that you don't like? Or what he needs to improve on?
Backup.
Or what he needs to improve on?
Good career backup point guard. Can give you spot start minutes, plays good defense, can change the tempo of the game. Don't expect too much extra. If he does anything extra, take it and run. But sometimes we got to be realists about our players.
I hear you.
I think it's a very small sample size to be real about anything about him.
I was gonna say it's incomplete for me because I still haven't seen
Yeah,
it.
exactly. Yeah, I haven't. He's only played like something like 190 minutes this season, bro. Like,
But,
that's nothing.
But let's take it down to the last 2 games. What you seen, what you like, what you
It's
don't like.
incomplete, but you can see sometimes talent stands out where we get mad. We see Cam Reddish standing at the 3-point line at the corner, and Deuce or Burks, or I'm not Deuce, IQ just doing dumb things off the pick and roll, and Cam is just like sitting there. When you see the few times Cam gets the ball, you're like, why is he not in pick and roll much more than these other guys? So
hold on, hey, stop right there, Jay.
Yeah.
So one of my pet peeves is Knicks fans. We don't know basketball from a coaching perspective, right? So the easy thing to say is run pick and roll, right? And so what happens is we take something as complex as NBA offense and pigeonhole it into pick and roll. So for one, let me just say this. For one, there are variations of the pick game, right? You can run a pick and roll. You can run the pick and pop, right? You can even run a pick and go action, right? Where the ball handler himself drives outside of the paint and the other guy that's coming with you is outside of the paint where there is no threat in the paint itself, but it gives you the same threat as the pick and roll action, but a little bit more spacing. And that's what the Phoenix Suns run a lot, right? Mm-hmm. With that, they'll run that pick action without Ayton, say with a Mikal Bridges, right? And so what happens is they'll run the pick and roll, they'll mix in that pick and go, right? And what it leads to is 2 defenders having to defend 2 guys, but you leave a lane in the paint for somebody to follow along afterwards for the UCLA style cut by a big, right? So the reason why I stopped is not to smack hands, smack wrists, say for Jay, but to enlighten everybody that there is more to NBA offense than just saying pick and roll, right? Teams don't run pick and roll 100% of the time down the floor, right?
But the Knicks do.
No, they don't. No, the Knicks don't run that because how can you say that and then get mad at ISO Randall?
I don't get mad at ISO Randall. I get mad that ISO Randall, the defense sets in and he doesn't make the plays out of the ISO Randall.
Right, but so with that said, you just admitted. So you said that the Knicks run the pick and roll 100% of the time.
Like 90% of the times they do. 90% of the time.
Well, what I'm getting at is this. Offense is not specific. It's like NFL offenses. You don't run fullback dive 100% of the time, and then you don't run the Hail Mary 100% of the time. You have to mix up your offense and looks with personnel and with schemes, right?
Situation dictate.
Right, and a lot of that has to do with the Knicks not having a natural facilitator at point guard. So some things that other teams run that the Knicks don't run is because the Knicks don't have the same personnel as what other teams have. You can't ask the Knicks to run what the Memphis Grizzlies run when you don't have guys like Desmond Bane, Dylan Brooks, Zaire Williams, and especially Ja Morant. The Knicks have to run offense based on what they have. The Knicks have to run power flex basketball because 2 of their best players are powerful for their position. That's Julius Randle and RJ Barrett. They play a physical bully style brand of basketball. So we can't run the finesse pick and roll because for one, we don't have an elite facilitator like a Chris Paul, and we don't have a center. We don't have a center that's a threat to shoot from the outside, that's elite dribbling towards the basket, and has a mid-range, right? So when we run the pick and roll with Mitch, defenses don't respect Mitch as the roll man because he's only one threat on that play, and that's catching the lob. right? And
Yep.
then when you have a handler that does not have a mid-range game, right? That doesn't have a mid-range game, or that can dunk on you at the basket or finish at a high level at the basket. All defenses have to do is D you up at the 3-point line. So now it makes when we run the pick and roll, it makes it look like we don't have offense, because Kemba, when he was the starter, couldn't get to the basket. But coming around that fake screen by Mitch, he would jack up a three, right? And Mitch, his only threat was to catch the lob. So as a defense, you get off the Mitch screen and glue Kemba, which takes away the three, and then you just sag behind Mitch because you know that he's only a lob threat. Now, what else do you have on that play? In the pick and roll.
Another thing that you did point out, the difference between the Phoenix Suns and us is a lot of constant motion. Where I say, if you mention Mikal Bridges, he really starts about free throw extended at the 3-point line, and when the point guard turns the corner, he floods to the corner, and that forces that man not to be stationary playing defense. Unlike us, where our guys already planted at that corner, it's easier for them to make a decision rather to pick up the man or jump to the corner, because most of the time our guards have a hard time turning that corner.
Right.
So
And so Phoenix also runs what you call a flex continuity offense. So it's not just see, they maintain a 15 to 18 foot spacing between all of their players. If you see two players bunched together, you can predict that they're going to run a screen action. But most of the time, they're 15 to 18 feet away from each other, so that the defense is stretched out all over the floor. So you have driving lanes, passing lanes all over the floor. So it's easier for you to connect on these passes to other guys because you're not bunched up. The Knicks can't run that because no matter who we run at center, they can't shoot from the outside, right? Unless you play Randall or Taj at the 5, right? And also, the Knicks don't just send dudes to the corner on every play. They run escape screens where Mitchell Robinson is an excellent screener under the rim up top. And I said this before, but I don't know if people understand what I'm saying. Like, our bigs flat out mash people underneath the rim. Randall, Mitch, Taj, Jericho. If we have a player cutting baseline, you can believe the wings that are guarding them are getting mashed, and that creates their frustration because we're physical away from the ball, but we're not physical on the ball. And that's why you see wings and guards in this league always beefing with us, because the physicality that we provide on offense away from the ball is frustrating and elite. It's why cats bow up at us all the time. Because if you're chasing RJ Barrett baseline, Jericho Sims is going to knock your head off or try to get you off of RJ Barrett. So when RJ gets to the corner, when the camera pans to RJ in the corner, it looks like he's been waiting there the whole time. Nah, it's not like that all the time. Like me and D Poetic spoke about this. Like, the Knicks run escape screens. Like, RJ will screen for somebody on the corner of the free throw line, go to the box, get screened by Sims, and go to the corner. But when the camera pans there, it looked like RJ was posted up there the whole time.
So, Freeze, I'm gonna tell you something you said. I just saw the picture in my face, man. And you talk about disruptive. You got me thinking on that wing, and I'm gonna give my man Quickly his credit, because I always try to look for the good in people, even if it's something they do that I don't care for, right? Quickly is a problem. That shooting you have to respect, and I got to give the guy his credit. His defense, on-ball defense, even though being undersized out there, his defense is a problem, and that's why I like the whole idea of him and Deuce together. Those two guys out there is a problem for team offenses to try to get in their offense, because those guys are willing to pick you up 94 feet and harass you. And I love that. So when Dee's brought up that point about our young guys, man, the potential is a beautiful thing to be able to look and say, man, we finally got something with these young players. And Jericho Sims, I'm telling y'all right now, he's going to be a monster. I'm done with the Noel experiment. We can amnesty him. We can stretch him. We can do whatever. Jericho need to be the backup and pay Mitch his money. Pay Mitch his money. $12 million ain't a lot to pay Mitch, man. And the one thing that I've come to realize about Mitchell Robinson has something you can't teach and you can't learn. That guy is able to score without anything being ran for him. Everything he's getting, and it ain't even that many lobs a game. Mitchell Robinson gets his points off putbacks and scrambled balls. That's what Mitchell Robinson does, and most centers can't do that. You saw how Ayton looked when he didn't have a point guard to give him the ball. He was basically non-existent.
Right.
Basically, it looked like he was unplayable. But Mitchell Robinson, he doesn't need that, and that's why for that alone you pay that guy. Not even counting his defensive prowess.
Right.
You know what I mean? You pay that guy. $12 million is nothing to pay Mitchell Robinson.
Right.
Hey, Freeze, let me ask you something. When Cam's first couple games, when he came in the court and we saw him cut to the basket, everybody's reaction was like, whoa, like we don't see that. Why is that? It's because what I was trying to tell you before is that our offense, there's not a lot of motion in it. So when you put the motion into the offense, it makes it a lot better. That's why I do like.
But what motion? So the reason why I can't follow is because you're not saying what motion. Are you talking about a motion offense?
Yes.
He's alluding to backdoors. If Reed reacted to defense, pick and rolling in certain instances.
Yes.
Cutting from the wing. He's talking about stuff like that.
Okay. So I'll speak to that just briefly, right? So last year, when Tom Thibodeau ran the pick and roll with Elfrid Payton, and he implemented the backside actions, the young guys were so low IQ that they would run into each other. And y'all remember me saying this last year when Kevin Knox and Obi were on the floor at the same time. Obi would be in the corner, spotted up for three, and Kevin Knox would be in the dunker spot, like legit. And Tibbs would be so mad that he wanted to call a timeout. But the thing is common sense. Why is Kevin Knox and Obi roll on this play, and Obi and Kevin Knox roll on this play? It's because they were so low IQ that when you ran complicated offensive stuff to try to bring them up to speed and to help the team run better offense, guys with low IQ would do the wrong thing. Like when Quickly turned the corner, the lob would be there to Kevin Knox, and the wide open dude in the corner would be Obi Toppin. And you like, in what universe does these two players thrive in that? Right. And there was also a play last year in the I forget what game it was, but they turned the corner and Kevin Knox and Obi run into each other. Underneath the rim when Quickly was turning the corner. And Obi is looking at Kevin Knox like, why are you and I was getting ready to take off for the lob. And Knox was like, oh, my bad. Knox, what are you doing? Right? And so Tibbs cut out the back action because the young guys, they need experience. They need time to learn and play through their mistakes. But Tibbs stopped running that because low IQ players, and I'm not saying dumb. What I'm saying is low IQ.
Yeah, B-IQ.
I'm saying because they have to learn. You learn through experience, right? That's what I'm getting at. Like these guys hadn't had enough experience playing with each other to know what role to be in, and didn't have enough time to have continuity and all that. Remember, they didn't have a training camp either, right? So all these things. So Tibbs went away from that. So then you saw the pick and roll with dudes spotted up to ensure that everybody was in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, but I would like to start building good habits moving forward where we know, you just said it now, we know why Tibbs loves his veterans because they've seen the NBA games. They know how defense are going to play. They know the nuances on where to cut, how to, figure these things out where young guys, they don't really understand how to properly come off a screen, how to do a proper cut to get these.
Tibbs don't have patience.
Exactly.
Right. But they have to play through their mistakes in order to learn to get better.
Which is now why we should do it, and we have game film and have at least some type of data so we can know how to move forward.
Right. You're right. So to your point about the pick and roll, right? I'll just say this, right? So they run it pick and roll
Randall's not involved, but what he does is go to the wing and sets a back screen on the back side of the play so that when the guard takes off, the primary ball handler takes off, Evan Fournier can curve around the Randall screen. Randall floats to the baseline for the 18-foot jumper. Fournier comes around the Randall screen for a three off the wing. They know how to do this on the backside because they're veterans. When you ask Cam Reddish and say Obi Toppin or Jericho Sims to do this, Jericho Sims is not going to float to the baseline for the 18-foot jumper because he's not a shooter. So now he sets the screen and he comes to the rim. Now you have two bigs at the rim. You have the roller and Sims on the backside. The paint is clogged up. Now you kick out to Cam Reddish, and Cam Reddish is closed out on. He drives to the rim, and guess what? Now you have three Knicks offensive players in the paint, right? And what world do you want to see your R.J. Barrett or your Cam Reddish go to the rim to try to finish over three people?
None. That's not how.
Speaking of Cam Reddish,
real quick, don't forget the
latest on Cam. What's the latest on Cam injury?
He's day to day with a shoulder sprain. Jeremy Maynard, thank you for the super chat. Jeremy Maynard says, "Great show."
Thank goodness, man.
Jeremy,
I'm gonna tell you, I thought Cam has separated that shoulder.
Yeah,
that's good news. That's good news.
Yeah.
What I was trying to say about the Cam in the pick and roll is that I'd rather want to see him in more secondary action off the pick when the defense is moving. That we can see like he can really get to the hoop with ease at that point once the defense starts shifting, not the primary pick and roll. That's what I was more referring to.
That kid is smooth, man. Smooth.
Because I feel like we do have the players that are able to really attack the rim once the defense is moving. We have a hard time scoring, and if you notice, our time comes when it's set. The defense is already set.
Yeah.
You can't really break down the defense once the defense is set. That's why I like the new offense we're running through RJ now, because it's not initiated through Randall, and we don't get these poor decisions from Randall.
And not only that, the teams ain't really had a long time to game plan for RJ. They still don't know how RJ gonna hit him. But I'm gonna tell you something.
Even with that, is RJ strong? You put a smaller guard on him, he's gonna still get you.
Yeah, he gonna put you up in the bleachers.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I'm gonna tell you something I looked at with RJ's game though, fellas. I'm gonna tell you what I see in him, and I ain't calling him this guy, but RJ is playing the game a lot like how James Harden is, man. Getting to that basket, getting to that strong hand, and you can't stop it. And he's killing people with him. And if you load up on that hand, he'll take you to the right side. And that's something with RJ, man, that I didn't see this in RJ, man. I'm sorry, I didn't see it, but I'm accepting what I'm seeing, and I'm loving it, man. I'm loving it. We finally hit on a draft pick that was a first round pick that we're gonna re-sign, fellas. And I think that's pretty much unanimous.
Right.
He will be a Knick long term.
Yeah, but now that you know that, you got to put him in a position to succeed.
Yeah,
no matter
absolutely.
what.
Absolutely.
To get back to your Deuce McBride spiel, because we are going to see a lot more of Deuce McBride. He played a whole fourth quarter last game, and his defense, as I noted yesterday, was stupendous. Not good. It was stupendous.
Elite level.
So the thing is, you don't want to see him rush too quickly to the point guard. You can already see from the hand. That's why I say forget that G League stuff, because when he was in the game against NBA players, it was like 2 or 3 dribbles, and he'd give it up because he doesn't have the ball handle and the speed and the dynamicism right now in order to create and turn the corner and get to his strong sides right now. He's going to have to rely on other guys to feed him on closeouts or cuts or stuff of that nature.
Don't mean it won't come, though.
But you know what? I don't think that's just all it is, too. I think that's by design. I think they're telling him to get that ball out of his hands. Because if you notice, as soon as he's come up with the ball, he's looking for somebody to give the ball to. And we had another point guard that was doing that same mess that we got out of town. You know what I mean? And Frank
I'm going to use your word, malpractice, because check this out. If he can do that, then why would you limit him as to doing something for your team of something that you don't have? That's why I feel he can't do it, because this is no way he could do it, and you wouldn't. Any coach would be like, "Oh my God, he could break down the defense. He can make things happen." Yeah, let it. I don't think a coach would purposely take a guy away from doing something like that, especially if that's the type of NBA that we live in today.
Good point. Good point. But I don't think just as the coach, man. I'm looking at a particular individual on the court that's calling for the ball when he on there with him. And I ain't gonna call his name, but we didn't call his name a lot this morning.
Yeah.
So I don't want to talk about the negative with him, but yeah, go ahead. Keep going on, Deuce, man.
Oh no, I was done. I just wanted to make that point that, I like him out there. Just be out there, get used to it. It's kind of like your first, second date, third date. You get to know the girl a little bit better. You get what I'm saying? Until you guys make it, a relationship, right? It takes time, and I just want Deuce to get used to it.
I do think it's something with confidence, though. To your point, is getting used to riding that brand new bike you got.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got to get used to it, man. But that defense, you can see, is effortless to him, and he will fight over a screen, will fight through the screen. I rarely see that guy go under a screen, man, and even shading areas, man, on his defense where I'm watching him barking up, telling guys where to go on defense, and I'm like, this dude.
Grimes does the same thing as well.
Yeah.
Two things that rookies have a problem with in the NBA when they get in. They have a problem with the speed of the game, right? So that's why it takes time, right? And they also have to get used to the 82 schedule as well, especially if they're playing that much, because in college, you're only playing 30-some-odd games.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
And so that's durability as well. So that's why, I never judge. Gary Payton's a great example of that. It took year 3, it took him. It took him 2 full years. He played 2 full years. And it was just like people were like,
thought he was going to be a bust. Yeah, people thought he was going to be a bust.
That's right. And and for some guys it takes longer than others. I think a symptom of a problem with the NBA is that sometimes they need to slow down as far as some of these guys' development. Stop using things like, oh, he's 24, he's too old. No, he's still a puppy. Your prime doesn't come in. The beginning of your prime does not come into 27 years old. So that means that for a guy like Obi, I'm not saying Obi is going to be great or anything like that. What I'm saying is that, but for a guy like Obi, he's only 23, 24 years old. So that means I got 3 years to see. I got his whole rookie contract to see what is he. Because one season it might come in a deer in headlights, and the next season they might look like a completely different human being.
You might want to give the fans, the reminder update to say that again on his age, because they believe he's 30.
Well, he actually has the same birthday as me. That's how I remember.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah. So, and that's the whole thing. And I talked about this with Freezy yesterday. I told him one of the secret sources that nobody talks about when you want to build a winning culture and something sustainable is that you have to take advantage and maximize the opportunity of guys in their rookie contracts.
Oh, yeah, because you ain't paying them nothing.
Right.
You ain't paying them nothing, i.e. you can use that money to go get some other guys to come in here. And that's when you see teams really flourish. Go back to look at Golden State. When Golden State was on that run, they had a lot of young guys sitting on that bench that, was contributing, but you didn't have to throw them out there yet. And they allowed them guys to come along slow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And so, what was I going to say? Something about that. Oh, yeah. So, and plus it gives me time to evaluate, because when I have to play a young superstar or an emerging superstar, I have to go 4 years, 5 years, 160, 180, sometimes 200, depending on what year it is. So when I make this investment, I have 4 years to make sure this is my guy.
And guess what the beautiful thing about that is, Deez? You get to watch a player when you really get to assess a players when they're real comfortable, because that's when you get to find out what they do, what their tendencies are that's not good, what the things that they do that is good is when they're comfortable. When a player is uncomfortable, it's hard to really tell what they're good at. But if you got a player that's comfortable,
let me show you a great example. When Michael Jordan came in the league, who was his coach?
Who was that guy? I know he had the curly
Doug
hair
Collins.
Doug
Good job, Freezy, right? It was Doug Collins. How long did Doug Collins stand for Jordan's tenure in his rookie contract?
What was it? 1 year?
3 years.
No, I thought it was 1 year.
I thought it was one.
No, it was his first coach was
he had somebody.
The second coach was Doug Collins. Okay. And then Doug Collins couldn't get them over the hump. Remember, they kept losing in the playoffs.
And that's when they went and got Phil.
And that's when they got Phil. And they also the year before that they had drafted Scotty and acquired the power forward out of Clemson. What's up with the goggles?
Oh, you talking about Horace Grant?
Horace Grant, yeah.
The guy they got Oakley up out of town for.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let me see. Holy crap, you coached him to 89. Well, okay, well, that threw that one out. But I thought he was only there for one season. That's my fault.
Yeah, that's the way it felt.
But my point being is that it's very important in guys in their rookie contracts to make sure that during that 4-year span, you bring in the right coaching staff. Because when you want that guy to be there when you do give him the money, because they already know the program. You're not worrying about bringing in a whole new regime and learning a whole new thing. And now as new guys, maybe your guy was used to playing to these type of guys as opposed to these type of guys because that's what the coaching staff wants and stuff like that. So those years are very important.
Yeah, not only that, you get them before they start developing any bad habits too. They're still coachable.
And so I just wanted to speak to a certain point real quick about Obi Toppin versus RJ Barrett. And I'm not putting Obi Toppin against RJ Barrett. For those in the chat that look to twist words immediately, I'm not putting RJ Barrett against Obi. I'm saying Obi Toppin versus RJ Barrett, right? What I'm going to name is a list, right? Right, just bear with me. So this team in the first round drafted Marco Bellinelli. In the second round, they drafted Jamario Davison. In another pick in that second round, they drafted Stefan Lasme, right? The next year,
what team is this?
I'm going to tell you. Just bear.
Oh, my fault. Oh, I thought you said it before. My bad.
No. Just hear me. I don't want to say the name yet. I want to say what they've done first, and then I'll say the name, right? And so they also drafted the next year. They drafted a point guard, Anthony Randolph, in that same round, and Richard Hendricks, right? The next year, they drafted Ekpe Udo, right? They drafted Charles Jenkins, right? They drafted a shooting guard from the Pac-10, and then they drafted Anjan Kuzmic, right? They drafted a power forward / small forward out of Michigan State, but in that first round they drafted Festus Ezeli, right? In that same round they drafted a small forward out of North Carolina, right? They went years without draft picks, and then in 2015 they drafted Kevon Looney. In 2016 they drafted Patrick McCaw. In 2016, in that same round, in the first round, they drafted Damian Jones, right? The next year in 2017 they drafted Jordan Bell in the second round. The next year, in 2018, they drafted Jacob Evans. In 2019, they drafted Eric Pascal, right? And the second round of that draft, they also drafted Alan Shmamovich. I think that's his name.
Smilovich.
Yeah. And then in that first round, they drafted Jordan Poole, right? In 2020, in the second round, they drafted Justinian Jessup. And also Nico Mannion, right? And in that first round, they drafted a center out of Memphis named James Wiseman, right? In 2021, they drafted Moses Moody and Jonathan Kuminga in the first round. And so in that mix of all those players that they took swings and misses on, they drafted Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, and Steph Curry.
Yeah.
So
mainstays.
You're right. So what I'm saying to you is when a team is building a dynasty, they're not going to hit on every pick. Yep. Every name that they select in the draft is not going to have his jersey retired, right? There's a lot of swings and misses as you go forward. And the reason why I brought this point to the fore is that just because we drafted Obi Toppin doesn't mean Obi Toppin is going to be a long-term Knicks contributor. Some guys you draft, some guys they have great careers in other places. And some guys just don't make it. No matter how great the hype is, they just can't make it in the NBA. No matter how hard you root for them, they just can't make it. And we have guys like that we root for and hope they become great NBA players, like Frank Ntilikina, like Kevin Knox, and maybe even Obi Toppin. We had a guy, Alonzo Trier, that we signed as a undrafted free agent, right? Had all these individual great basketball skills, was on the cover of Hype magazine as a 12-year-old. He didn't make it in the NBA, right? So what I'm saying to Knicks fans is just because we bring in a guy and welcome him into our environment doesn't mean that this guy is gonna be a long-term fixture for us.
Yeah.
Every team, even the Golden State Warriors that I mentioned their brief draft history. I mentioned about 13 years of drafts for the Golden State Warriors. About 60% of the names that I named were swings and misses.
Gone.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
It's a rough business, man.
Right. So what I'm saying, my point to it all, I'm sorry, D, but my point to it all is get excited about the draft picks, right? And root for them for what they are, right? But when it comes to projecting them way down the road, just be patient.
Chill. Yeah.
Because evolution is not linear. Evolution is an up and down process for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Nobody wins every night. In order for it's like when you look outside and see your plants, see the flowers blooming. By the time you see those petals open up, they have been through the roughest part of their existence. They went through a seed that they were trapped inside of, away from sunlight. And they broke themselves out of that shell so that they can get to the sun. And their whole existence is getting to the sun. But guess what? If you're a flower, you never reach the sun, but you get to bask in sunlight, right? So think about that when you look at the guys that we bring in, like the Shamanich, like the Deuce McBride, like the Quentin Grimes. These dudes may never be at the Clyde Frazier pedestal, but the one thing they can say is, they played NBA basketball at a high level.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah. And for some people, that's their dream. Their dream is not to be Michael Jordan. You know what I'm saying? Their dream is to get there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so I'm not questioning people's motivations and all of that stuff. That's not the place. This is not the place for that. But what I'm saying is when we get the young guys, enjoy them, man. And if it's not working out for a player, don't be mad at others for pointing out that it's not working out for that guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Every situation ain't created equal.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. So I want to Reggie back with you now. I want to talk about that was good with Golden State. And don't forget, Golden State did a very good thing too. That though they had the pillars in place, right, for them to have something sustainable, right, and never stopped them from still trying to get the juice out of the orange. Right. And that's why they ended up with Moody, Kuminga, Wiseman, and stuff like that. And shout out to Moses Moody. He had a 30-point game the other night, and he's been starting for them. So, that was one of the guys we wanted in the trade day. Anyway, OKC, right? I'm going to throw them out, right? So, of course, obviously, we already know Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, Serge Ibaka, James Harden, and all that, right?
Right. Yep.
So I want to go down. If I want to go down this line with you, because you brought up something very great, right? So these are other guys that they drafted, right? Perry Jones in 2012, Reggie Jackson in 2011, Alex Sabrinis in 2013, Steven Adams, they hit on that one. Then the next year in 14, it was Josh Hustis, Mitch McGarry. We never saw those guys. Right. Dakari Johnson in 2015, Cameron Payne in 2015. Another great story that it takes time.
Right.
Terrence Ferguson in 2017. Where's he?
Former Nick Terrence Ferguson.
Yeah, he was there for like a cup of coffee, right? And
then, we traded for him. We traded Iggy Brasdakis for him.
It didn't even. Wow. Okay. So Kevin Hervey, Devin Hall.
Yep.
And then this year they hit with Josh Giddey, Trey Mann, and Aaron Wiggins.
Right.
See, but hear this, right? So it's the same story, right? It's hit and misses. They got some guys that can stick, and they also got some guys too that they were able to build and get something for it. And I think good examples with that were Reggie Jackson. I think another good example of that was Steven Adams as well, right?
Right.
But look
Serge
what they
Ibaka.
did. Serge, right? So, but look what they did, though. You see, and this is how I know organizations know what the hell they're doing, because now this year, right, they have 3 first-round picks, and they have a second, right? So the Clipper, the one that they got from the Paul George trade, right, is unprotected.
Okay.
But the one they got from Phoenix for the Chris Paul trade is top 12 protected. Check this out. If not conveyed, so they can choose. If not conveyed, then protections on the following years include top 10 in 2023,
Right.
top 8 in 2024 before becoming unprotected in 2025.
Yep.
You see, this is how you do this right here.
Right.
And then they have the other pick is the Detroit one, which was happened due to the Sengun trade, because don't forget, I think they originally drafted him and then they did a whole thing with the Pistons in Houston, so they ended up with that pick. That one is top 16 protected in 2022, 1 to 18 in 2023, 1 to 18 in 2024, 1 to 13 in 2025, 1 and 11 in 2026, 1 and 9 in 2027. That is flexibility. And shout out to Chuck. He started me down this road. I just took it a step further. 2023, they have their own. They also have the Clippers one from the Paul George trade.
Yep.
They also have the Denver Nuggets one from the Steven Adams trade.
Right.
They also have the Miami Heat one from the Paul George trade. They have a Washington Wizards one from the Sengun trade as well. So keep this in mind. 2023 is probably most likely going to be a very deep draft.
Right.
Okay.
There's some young guys in it.
Yep.
And they literally have 5 first-round picks. And look what they already established.
Sam Presti,
I think,
man.
Yeah. They got their point guard of the future. I don't care what anybody tells me. Josh Giddey is going to be. He's going to be one of the better point guards in this league for the next 10 years.
He's going to make Shai Gilgeous-Alexander expendable.
Right.
Well, I mean, they do two different things, right?
But I tell you why. Because of Trey Man. That's why.
Well, keep in mind this, Ron. He is getting paid $30 million starting next year.
Right.
Shea. So his volume is gonna go super high. You thought it was high now, it's gonna be real high then. Right. So and Trey Man's still in his rookie, so Trey will find his way unless Trey does something stupendous. The thing that you have to keep in mind is that are they gonna keep Lou Dort? They didn't extend him.
They better keep him if they're smart. They better keep him if they
don't have to.
I'm gonna tell you why you keep him.
Don't have to.
Every team needs that enforcer, man. We in the new age of basketball, but every team needs an enforcer. And he's that dude. And what I mean by that is he's going to enforce their style of brand on every team they play against. It's going to be a long night when you see Lou Dort across from you. You're like, man, we got to deal with that guy. Yeah.
See, I thought about that, Ron, right? Because I was looking at his contract and I was like, would they extend him? Right? Right? And I don't think they are. And I think they're smart for it. Because when I started looking at his numbers and I started going a deeper dive, I watch a lot of games too. He's not efficient.
Offensively, he's not.
But defensively, he's taking a drop this year as well.
I'll tell you why I was saying Shai Gilgeous would become expendable is because when you look at Trey Man's skill set and how he plays, he would fit better off of Josh Giddey than them keeping Shai Gilgeous with Giddey. You see what I'm saying? Because one of them guys got to be a shooter. If you're playing off either one, if they're playing off each other, Giddey or Shai Gilgeous, one of those guys got to be a shooter, and both those guys are pretty much playmakers. And Trey Man is that exactly. And Trey Man is that I want to put it in the basket like Kyrie, and you take the ball out of his hand and just let him do what he do best and score.
Okay, but let me tell you this, Ron. Right? Let me propose this to you. And OKC, they do things out of the box, right?
Yeah.
Right? What if they go on another swing this year because their first swing worked last year? What if they go on another swing and they get Shady on Sharp?
Yeah.
What if they get Ben Mathurin? Do you really need Lou Dort?
No, you don't.
You know they want to do that, Ron, because think about it. They're all in the business for not really paying these guys unless they're like that.
Exactly.
So Dort isn't really necessarily like that, so I could see them taking that route of, either trading them or just not bringing him back and then signing his replacement, who's a younger guy who they feel like might have more pop, like D saying, Sharp, Mathurin, they have a higher ceiling than him.
And you don't have to pay him.
Right. Yeah, and you don't have to pay him, and you can keep guys in their rookie contract.
Right.
And Presti is that guy. I told y'all that's my dream. The wig up ahead that Dolan found a way to get him. That would change things around here, man.
Right.
Or somebody of that ilk, man. Go get a real front office guy, man. It's past by time.
And check this out, Ron. Right. Last thing about Lou Dort. Right. Last year, right. He was a +9 and expected win. He had a differential of +5.6, which was very high in the league at his position. This year, it's the complete opposite. All his defensive numbers gone down. All his shooting numbers have gone down. So OKC is very smart with this. They know they just messed up with James Harden. That was a dynasty throughout the 10s. They just messed up and not giving him a couple more. And I think that's something they learned from, because what they did, it took them a little bit to get it back together, right? But you see the pillars are starting to come again, little by little.
And what OKC is showing the league too is there's value in your draft picks, man. You don't throw them things away, man.
No,
that's what we was doing for so many years, throwing away our draft picks.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Right. So to the point that you guys are making, so we hear every morning, and it's one of the reasons why I kind of get frustrated with the way the conversation goes. Not that I don't want to have people, you know what I'm saying, say what they feel, but you ever been in a situation where everybody complain and nobody offers solutions?
Yep.
Everybody complaining. Everybody, oh man, it's hot outside. Oh gee, it's all this stuff.
What you gonna do about it?
And what you gonna do about it? You gonna turn the air conditioner on or what? You know what I'm saying?
Or are you just gonna complain?
And that gets frustrating, right? You know, I ain't gonna lie to you. You can I try to hide it, but listen, it's frustrating, right? But the thing is,
you're human, man.
Yeah,
you're human.
yeah. And the thing is too, Ron, is if we can pull off a scenario, like if we do clean house, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we could pull off a Sam Presti move. And put him in a situation where he can still be Sam Presti in New York with more resources. I'm all in for that. But what I really don't want to hear is clean house and just grab the first. Just clean house. We just need anybody be better than these clowns. No.
Yeah. All right, Jim. Come, Jim. And then it's more of a mess.
Yeah.
We need a major upgrade, man. We need to suit this thing up, man. And I'm with you. I'm gonna tell you what. If we pull that off, I'm considering no matter who we sign, I'm saying that's a successful offseason just by getting that guy, because you know what he's going to do. He's going to get rid of players that shouldn't be here. He's going to get rid of guys, even if it's just getting draft picks. It's like what Deez was bringing out about what that guy does, man. He's in acquiring them draft picks, because that stuff is gold.
Hey, Karen. Right. Freezy, you brought up a great point. And I want to build more on it, right? Man, how did you word it though? I'll get back to you with it. Go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. So what I would like to do in this scenario, if we do clean
I remember. Okay, check it. Can a big market team be a small market team?
Yeah.
Disguised as a big market team.
I'm glad you asked that, Deez. You know what we need to ask ourselves? We need to stop saying that, because what the small market teams is doing business the way it's supposed to be done.
Right.
That's what they do, and that's why they're successful. When I hear people say a small market, do it the small market team. No, they are doing things the way it's supposed to be run. You never, in all these sports, even in football, you never supposed to build your team where you just go and chasing a bunch of free agents. Them things supposed to be sprinkled in, but the basis of your team is supposed to be built by players that you drafted.
Yeah.
I.e. go to the state like you started out earlier with.
So Freezy, that was a great point. I wanted to extend that. I didn't want that to go away. Why can't we do it? Why does our administrations, right, or our ownership have to bend to that? Because we're big market, we got to walk around like we're big market. It hasn't worked, and it really never has.
It hasn't worked for a long time.
Yeah, it's never worked. Really.
Right. I'll give you an example of major markets disguising themselves as small market teams.
Yeah.
Dallas Mavericks. They are the 5th biggest market in the United States. They operate, though, as a small market team.
Yeah, good call.
Right. Chicago Bulls. Chicago is the 3rd biggest market in the United States. Right? And they operate as a mid-tier, smallish type market because of the mistakes they've made in the past. Right? All right. So the other 3 markets in this in the top 5 are New York 1, Los Angeles 2, and Philadelphia 4. Right? Does Philly operate like a major market team in y'all opinion?
I think they act more like a.
Sometimes they do.
More
sometimes
like a
they don't.
Sometimes they do, like the Tobias Harris type thing.
Yeah,
I never was a fan of that one.
Right. But there was a stretch there was a stretch where their mantra was trust the process.
Yeah,
The small market approach.
Accumulate picks.
Right. They took the small market approach. Trust the process.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that they would be up by 15 going into the fourth quarter, and their crowd would chant, "Trust the process," and Philly would lose by 7. Right? But can New York do that? Can New York trust the process?
They can. You know, and you know that the knock has been is, well, the Knicks fans are impatient. No. It's not the Knicks fans. It's the front office, because we are not the ones pulling the strings to bring players here. It's all about that front office. They all come in and say, "Oh, we're gonna do it the right way in year one," but they all deviate depending on who becomes available. They're always watching and hoping some star becomes available so they can try to throw all their chips at them. And that's where the mistake is coming. Nobody has came in and said, "I'm gonna adopt this model and I'm gonna really build this thing and start with young players, and we're gonna let the record be what it is, and we're gonna build this thing the right way." You really shouldn't be trying to go after star players like that till about year 3 of a rebuild.
Yeah.
That's when you really should be going after star players. Give yourselves time to solidify yourself as what type of team you're trying to be before you're trying to go get players. That's why we've always striked out, because we're in the midst of trying to find out who we are, and when players come available, we're trying to go out there and get them.
Yeah. So now, Freezy, right? Again, another great point, right? You always say it. Who is the MVP for us this year?
Knicks PR.
Right. So how do we make the big market look like a small market?
Knicks PR.
Ooh, that's how you do it.
That's how you do it. That's how you do it. And I'm glad you brought up this point, because in my opinion, and this is me, right? This is just my opinion. I'm not forcing this on anybody else or trying to steal this idea from anybody else. In my opinion, I burn this thing to the ground, scorch earth it, right? Everybody gotta go, right? And take the Sam Hinkie approach to rebuilding it, right? And for those that follow religion and other things in history, you've known when things have gotten so far out of hand, the only option is to flood it and wipe it off the face of the earth, or to bring in fire and brimstone and burn it to the ground and start all over, right? And so what I'm saying to this Knicks, I'm not saying it's only going to take an act of God for us to win a championship. What I'm saying is that you have to reset the whole thing from scratch, right? And only bring in a limited reminder of what used to be there, whether it be somebody, somebody on a big boat, or maybe it's somebody that escaped the fire and brimstone to tell the story of what used to be there, right? And so the person that I'm saying should be the holdover is RJ Barrett.
I'm with you.
Right?
Absolutely.
Right. And build this thing from the ground up in the image that you want it to be eventually, right? Don't do like going back to history, or those that know anything about the Bible or whatever. You don't want a Babylon where you just keep building on this thing because you want to get to you want a structure to take you to a place where your soul is supposed to get you to, right? What you want to do is build it knowing that you want to be there eventually. So you take it day by day with the day by day approach that I'm going to get this thing better every day, and I don't need a proxy to get me there. That's what I'm saying. And sometimes how I'm feeling and the point that how I relay it is taken out of context, right? Like, I don't want you to take what I'm saying out of context. I want you to listen to what I'm saying and give what I said the true value it deserves. Start all over, scorch the earth with it. Take one or two, and I say one or two just to be general, from the old way that it used to be done, only as a reminder of how bad things were before, right? And you take them into, like, the people that escaped the fire and brimstone could tell the story of how bad it was when they were there, right? So when you do that, you have to have a visionary, right? Not just a guy that's good, not a numbers cruncher, right? You don't want a numbers cruncher to be in charge because all he gonna worry about is the numbers, right? You don't want the talent evaluator to be in charge because all he does is evaluate talent, right? You don't want the innovative offensive coach to be in charge because all he's going to want to do is bring in dudes that can score and run up the points. What you want to do is bring in a leader, right? He don't have to be the best numbers cruncher. He don't have to be the best Italian evaluator. He don't have to be. He has to be the person with the vision and the how to get to the promised land.
Yeah,
So
have the guy with the blueprint that knows that this is what we doing and this is how we gonna run it. Hey, Freezy, man.
And we're not gonna deviate from that.
I'm gonna have to go, man. I'm enjoying the conversation, man. You know, but my thing is, I'm gonna tell you, I'm with you. You know, to a certain extent. Hey, RJ is definitely a keeper. What we really need to be doing now is identifying who we gonna keep and who we gonna get rid of,
right?
And continue to build this thing through that draft and let that thing play out, man. Because I'm gonna tell you what might just happen for us as Knicks fans. You know what might just happen? Because I know some people want us to try to get to the play-in, some people don't. Getting to the play-in doesn't mean that you're not gonna be in the lottery. Because those two teams in that play-in, you got a chance to still be in the lottery. What I would like to see happen is us just play our game, man. Whatever happens, happens, and we don't cheat the game, but we still end up getting a very good draft pick. Because that happened to New Orleans. If you remember when they got Zion, they were not far from getting in the playoffs the year they got Zion.
Right.
So hey, all this trying to tank, I ain't with no.
They changed the format because of
they
that.
changed it for Memphis too. Because
You're
Memphis
right. So I ain't never been a proponent of losing. You show me somebody who enjoy losing, and I'll show you a loser.
A loser, right?
And I'm with that, man. Hey, I'm out, man, fellas. I enjoyed it, man. Keep up the good commentary.
Okay, Ron.
Hey, appreciate you, bro.
Take care of yourself.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. So the thing I was getting at, man, is not that I don't want to win a championship this year. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is if we are realistic in who we are, we know this team is not built to be an NBA champion. It's not Disney, bro. We're not the Mighty Ducks. This ain't Angels in the outfield.
Say little Giants.
Yeah, this ain't little. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm getting at is if a guy comes out and says, "Hey, I'm the new head honcho in charge of the Knicks, and we have a 5-year plan. We're going to hit the reset button. This is where we look to be at the end of year 2. This is where we look to be at the end of year 4. And in year 5, we hope to contend on an annual basis for the NBA Finals. Sign me up."
Yeah.
Right? Because there's a plan. Now, you don't want to tip your hand to the rest of the league. That's not what you're doing. But you're saying, hey, this year is going to be, don't worry about it. We're resetting year 1. We're resetting. RJ is the man. He's going to be in charge of take all the shots, make all the offensive, all that stuff. And we're going to surround RJ with some role players until we get to the draft. And in the draft, what we're going to do is try to get RJ legit help going forward, right? Try to draft. We're going to take a swing at superstars, not role players, but superstars. And sometimes you hit and sometimes you miss.
Yeah.
But what the Knicks had been doing was drafting role players and missed on the role players, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And also not putting ourselves in proper positions in order to have good draft stock. So then when these good drafts came around, maybe we could have gotten 2 guys or so that could really help us in the future, whether staying on the team or through asset acquisition and stuff of that nature.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, man.
Yep.
Yeah, man. I mean, I feel you. And just to real quick to the Randall thing, I just want to touch on the Randall thing just real quick. Cool. So the Randall thing, man, is this. How can a team devoid of talent not appreciate a talent? Randall is a talent. Now, listen, what I'm getting at is Randall is a talent. Can the Knicks trade and get something for him? Yes.
Yeah.
Right? Randall is a very good NBA player. Right? I would say a good NBA player is a guy that's a starter that can get you 12 points, depending on what position, 5 rebounds or 5 assists, depending on what position. If he's a front court or a back court player, I think that's a good NBA player, right? Randall gets you more than that. I'm not ready to go all back into the superstar conversation that we've crossed that bridge. But what I am saying is if the Knicks want to be more than what they are right now, they have to become better than the current version of themselves.
Mm.
They have to. We have to do that. We have to become a better version of what we are right now in order to get a better result per game and a better outcome at the end of seasons.
Yeah. You know, I wish, Freezy, that I wish the Knicks as an organization treated this Julius Randle thing better this season. Because and with the Kemba Walker thing as well. Because it just it gives off the vibe that we still don't know how to handle the talent. You know, by guys acting the way they do sometimes, or picking up the checks when I showed up at press conferences for 2 weeks and stuff of that nature. I just wish the Knicks would handle that better, because then the league can take notice and be like, wow, okay, maybe this situation was a problem, but I like how they handled the situation. They didn't go. They didn't go this way too much. They didn't go this way too much. They brought a solution to the situation. All parties were happy, and we continued playing basketball. I wish that had happened, because I think my outlook as to Julius Randle remaining on this team would have been a lot different.
Okay.
But the fact that the mentality of them having the inmates run the asylum type of thing and kind of just let it be, and then whatever happens, and we'll clean up the check no matter how much of a mess. It was kind of like, I remember there was a time, right? Short story. Me and a bunch of guys, we were young. We were like 17, 18 years old, right? And my friend's mom at that time made the worst mistake on the planet Earth. She let us have like one of like them home share things for 5 days, right?
Right.
Yo, we murdered that place, bro. Like doors were broken, right? I remember chicks were there. We were spraying the fire extinguishers at them, right? We're going the whole thing. The thing was a mess,
Right.
right? And then she had to go ahead and pick up the pieces. Now, as a grown man, I feel really bad for that. And I still see the family to this day, and we talk about that. We apologize about things like that. But you can't have 17, 18-year-olds in timeshare for 5 days and expect that to be crystal clean by the time they're done with it.
Right. You can't
And I
expect
think
kids to act like adults. Right.
Right. And I think it's the same thing with the Knicks. You can't expect the talent to act a certain way. You have to be there in order to guide them and put them in the right direction. So then you can have the best product you can have, not just from a basketball standpoint, but from an imaging standpoint as well. Why do people like going to certain places in the NBA? Yeah, it could be about money. Yeah, it could be about this. But they always favor, I like how that organization runs things. I like how they treat their players. They always get paid, and they always treat them right.
Right.
People care about that stuff.
Yeah.
And we've done atrocious in those things. We have not treated guys right that have come here for either this way or that way. Either we gave them too much or we didn't give them enough. You know what I'm saying? The handling of Patrick Ewing, the handling of Carmelo Anthony during his tenure here, the handling of Julius Randle this year. We do have a really bad history of this.
The handling of Bernard King, the handling of Michael Ray Richardson, the handling of Earl Monroe, the handling of Clyde Frazier,
even the handling of Kristaps Porzingis.
Yeah.
Even when he wasn't like a superstar like that, but he was a guy that came. He was a high draft pick. He brought something that we haven't had in a long time. It was a unique play that the NBA's barely seen, and we handled it terribly.
Right. The handling of Charles Oakley, the handling of Latrell Sprewell.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
real.
It's a history of things, right? And so that's why I say, man, I agree with you with development, right? And I hope my scouting thing is accurate.
Yeah.
But I think you have to scorch the earth, start all over, rebuild it in the image that you portray it to be down the road. Don't say this is who we are right now. Nothing.
So do you scorch RJ Barrett too?
No.
Oh, okay, all right.
No. He is you have to keep a holdover from the previous to tell the story of what used to be.
That's the one you're keeping, right? For you?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Like one or two. Right.
Yeah.
Like
Who else you have in mind?
I don't know.
Okay. I got you.
I don't know like right offhand because the season's not finished.
Yeah.
And so what you want to do is before you trade away Grimes and McBride and Quickly and Obi in a package for draft picks or a player, you want to at least see what it is. Can they be saved? Is what I'm asking. Can quickly be saved? Because if not, then it's the same old stuff.
Yeah.
So you can go get ham sandwiches. You can go get cheeseburgers from anywhere. You don't have to go to a cheeseburger place to get a cheeseburger. You can go get a cheeseburger from any restaurant. If Quickly is just going to be a small combo guard off the bench that scores, I can get them out of any draft. The Nets got Cam Thomas last year. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I can go get a 6'3" scorer out of any draft, right? If that's all Quickly is going to be. Now, if he is going to be a leader, consistent, right, healthy, then he's got to stay, right? But if he's going to be one of a million and not one in a million, if he's one of a million, I have 999,000 other guys I can get, right?
Yep.
So yeah, man. So I hate to be the Debbie Downer of the conversation. It's not what I was trying to do. I'm just saying that we as an organization need to pick a direction and go. Right?
Yeah.
We need to pick a direction and go. Are we going to go all in with the vets? That means you have to sacrifice some of the kids to bring in more vets. Are we going to go in with all youth? That means you have to sacrifice the vets to bring in more youth. Right? And some people are going to say, well, you need a balance of both. Well, what you don't realize is you don't need an old man. You know what I'm saying? You don't need an old man. You don't need somebody 40 years old to counterbalance the age. Because some of the guys that you have, some of the young core, they're not as young as what you think. Mitchell Robinson is not 19.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I'm saying? Obi is not 19. These cats are 23, 24. Do you want to bring in some guys to sit at the end of the bench? Would you bring in Al Horford? I would say why not?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because he could take up salary for the 1 year, right? And be the responsible adult in the room.
Yeah. And that would be nice. That would be nice to have some adults in the room and guys that really have a plan and also have a contingency and also have a fail safe.
Right.
That would be nice.
Hey, I gotta head out, guys. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, me
Peace
too.
and blessings, and I'll be here on the next one. Hopefully, the Knicks show us something tonight.
Yeah, 35, 12, and 10.
I hear you.
All right. So
all right, Sam. Take care of yourself.
I'm gonna get out of here too, but I want to. D, you got something that you want to predict for tonight or to say about tonight before we get out of here?
Yeah. I'll be quick. I think Dallas is. I don't think the Knicks are going to sweep the season series. I think what happened in January is not going to happen again tonight. Luka's been playing out of his mind lately. Difference between January and now is that they do have a Dinwiddie and a Brunson now to deal with, and that deals with dribble penetration, which has been an issue all year. And plus two, is Mitch playing tonight?
He's questionable.
Okay, if he plays, well, it's honestly any of them, they're going to be a problem because Dallas is last of the league in points in the paint. And it's not because they can't score in the paint, because Luka, for example, his rim percentage is like one of the highest in the league. It's just that they're just a perimeter-oriented team. So which means you have to get out there a lot. You got to attack the closeouts and stuff. I mean, you have to get at them on closeouts and stuff of that nature. But I do feel that it's going to be a tough one tonight. I don't share your optimism about Julius Randle. Again, small wings are going to be on him today. He is not going to explode like that. And if he does, fantastic, good. But I just don't see it as to a level as it was with Sacramento. But besides from that, what's good is that this is not another televised ESPN game. So, sometimes when we lose, the bashing goes up times 20 because it was on ESPN or something of that nature.
Right.
So that's a good thing. That's really all I have. I know you got to go, so.
All right. Hey, I'm gonna call you after this too.
Okay, no problem.
Hey, D'Angelo.
I'm sorry. I've been busy today. I've been
I know
you.
you saving the world, bro. We know you out saving the world and stuff. But hey, how come we don't talk to you outside the show? What's happening?
I don't got anybody's numbers. I feel excluded here. What is this?
Nah, man. I don't know what it is. Oh, so we'll get up definitely. I'm a run right now, but definitely before the end of the week, man.
Sorry to put you in a bad mood today, Freeze.
No. Nah, bro.
Andrew, you're fantastic. Stop it.
Yeah, man. You got to be here, bro. We gotta have you here. It's not the guy that you clash swords with. It's the arrow from 400 yards away that gets you. That bothers me. You know what I'm saying? You like, how do I get hit by an arrow? I don't even know who shot the arrow. And the dude that shot the arrow don't even know he hit you. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about on this battlefield. But anyway,
you guys are both great. I love you guys both.
Yeah, man. Hey, and
likewise,
we enjoy having you. Hey, y'all, we're gonna get out of here.
All right,
we'll holler at y'all later. Make sure y'all check out the replay for those that's watching the replay. Thank y'all for tuning in. We'll see y'all tomorrow morning. Peace.
Take care.